Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Super Otome World PodCast, where I am joined by my friend Wintie. Wintie, hello.
Hello.
And if you don't know, my name is Gwen. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to our podcast. We're happy to have you. So if you couldn't tell by the title, we're finally doing a podcast about an actual Otome game. I'm super excited. Long time no have not done what we've been wanting to do for a while because, procrastination. I moved and then, had to fix things in the house. Finally got the office set up. So finally we can record, and I'm super excited because we are going to be talking about the first Collar and Malice game. And
Yay!
before we start talking about the game, I did want to go back to our little intro and just kind of say hello, how freaking cute is our new little fall logo. Wintie did the cool, super cute pumpkin logo, and then her friend was like, "Hey, I want to make chibis," and we're like, "Oh my god, super!" And oh my gosh, they're so freaking cute.
They're
Uh, they're
adorable.
adorable. So I did want to ask, where can people find her if they're like, does she do commissions? Does she, I mean, what? Explain the deets.
So my friend, I don't think she's open to commissions. You guys can always write to her about it. You can find her on Instagram at Issa the Fish. And she is a really great artist. I love her. She's one of my best friends, and she's always been a great inspiration to me when it comes to the drawing. So I'm like, I wish I could draw like that. So
It's super
make sure to
cute.
check her out, guys. I really she feels like she doesn't have much of a following and stuff like that, but like she does really great work, and I would love for more people to see it and appreciate her awesomeness. So check her out if you guys can at Issa the Fish on Instagram.
Yay. And I'll also have all her information in the description just because it's, for easier and you can go back and always reference it. So it'll always be there. But now back on track of the podcast, we're going to talk about Collar and Malice. This is an Otome game by Idea Factory slash Otomate. It originally came out on the PlayStation Vita in Japan, also in the US 2017, right?
About say, yeah.
Yeah, it was their summer mystery that it came out. And then just recently got ported to the Switch in the US. It is the second game, or the fan disc, which is a continuation of the game, has also recently came out in the past month and a half, 2 months or so. I'll include some links of where you can find and purchase the Nintendo Switch version.
Yes,
Um,
guys, check it out. It's such a good game.
it is. So we are going to talk about the kind of what's the word? Not description, the plots, the general
Hmm.
plots about the game, as well as some characters and other things before we start talking about spoilers. So we'll definitely tell you when we're going to go full on talk about the different routes, the kind of more about the characters and stuff like that. So we'll definitely forewarn you before we get there. So you can definitely listen without spoilers. We won't tell you who dies. Well, I don't does anyone die? Oh, I guess people do die. But we won't tell you that. I mean, spoiler. No, I'm just kidding. Um, everyone dies. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we'll definitely let you know once we get there. Um, so first, we want to talk about the plot of the game. Winty, do you want to go into the kind of general plot of the game for us?
Sure, let's go. So the plot of CollarxMalice, you play as a the protagonist Ichika Hoshino. That's the main character that you go ahead and play, and she is a police officer based off in Shinjuku. And unfortunately, at the time that this story is placed, there was a terrible
I guess terrorist
organization,
attack? Yeah.
a terrorist organization that started taking place around Shinjuku area, called Odonis, and they are causing just a whole bunch of mass massacres and murders that caused Shinjuku to have to go into quarantine so that nobody else could possibly be killed. So we are placed in that kind of what's the I guess atmosphere of everybody being afraid and stuff like that, and everybody wondering what's going to happen because Adonis is talking about they're doing a countdown to what they're calling the X Day. And nobody really knows what this X Day is, but they always keep mentioning something about a rebirth. And so that's all everybody really knows. But this Adonis group is trying to achieve, but by causing a whole bunch of mass murders. So, unfortunately, Ichika Hoshino on patrol ends up finding herself knocked out, and when she wakes up, she ends up having a poisonous collar placed on her by said group Adonis. And she is being threatened now to have to go ahead and solve the mystery of Adonis, and keep it a secret from the actual police. And she's given, enter the guys, help from this detective agency of ex cops who will be her only support throughout this whole endeavor that she's having to face. And that's kind of where the story the story takes place. Um, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of intense. It's kind of intense. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. If you're looking for a happy-go-lucky Otome game, actually, sadly, I don't think we have one in English.
Not at all.
Most of it is very dark. I mean, I appreciate the dark, but I want some fluff. But this is still a good game, especially if you like mystery. It's kind of that time of year where you want to get a little bit of mysterious going on, especially with Halloween and the fall. It's kind of, I don't know, fall kind of feels like a very mystery type of season for some reason. I don't
It
know.
does.
It's getting darker earlier in the day, so it's kind of a very, and this kind of takes place around this time of year. Like I think it's about fall into winter because I think um do they say when X Day is? It's like right after New Year's or something like that, or just at
Yeah, the
right,
first
right.
event I think happened in August actually, and then it just
Okay.
counted down the months until like X
Mm-hmm.
Day, January.
Right.
So
So yeah, so that's kind of the basic or premise of the game. So since we got a kind of setting for the game, we can talk about the characters. As Wintie mentioned, our protag is Hoshino, which she is renamable. Just first name, I believe. I don't think you can change the last name. I think it's just the first name. So she doesn't have much character information since she's kind of like you're that character kind of a thing. So she doesn't have like a height or anything, but she has an age. She's 21. She's legal. She can drink. She can go out and party. As
which she
she
does,
does.
lots of it.
So she does it several times at a bar and at home. So there's that. Um, and like when T said, she is a rookie cop, and she's only been working as a cop for 6 months before this all happened. The kind of division that she works in is called the Special Regions Crime Prevention Office, or SRCPO for short. Or if you're like my dyslexic brain, Scorpio, because I mean, if you're going to read something, if you're going to make an acronym like that, at least make it be like something of a word. You know what I mean? Instead of
Only
like,
missing like 2 letters off of that.
I know,
So
like just that would have been a really cool name. I mean, but yeah, so that is she, or you can just call it like the Crimes Prevention Office. That may be a good thing that we just kind of reference to. Because there's no way I'm going to remember that acronym over and over and over. I'm just going to call it Scorpio if we try to do that. So,
all right.
so we're going to talk about the boys and the order that we recommend playing the game. Um, the reason why we recommend this play order is because of the backstory and what you learn in each of these character routes, doesn't let you spoil certain, like, it's a good way to progress in the story, because I kind of feel like if you did it out of order, there's certain things you would learn from one route that you wouldn't really know in another route. So it kind of like takes the mystery away, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it won't flow as well. So
Yeah.
this order would definitely work a lot better.
So our first boy that we have is Emoto. I never know how to say his name. I always want to call it Minnow. I don't know why.
Well, it kind of looks like Minnow. I mean,
It does. Mineo,
Mineo.
Mineo. Mineo Emoto Enomoto. His
Yay!
birthday, right? Yay, pat on the back. So his birthday is April 17th. He's 23 years old. He's 178 centimeters, or he is 5'10". He used to be a cop at the Shinjuku Station's Field Ops Team 2. There's not much more that we can describe about him right now, if since it would it like that's there's a whole reason why he's not with it, and why each character will learn about why they're not in the police divisions that they were in, because you learn that in their routes. So thank you,
Mm-hmm.
sir. I did want to mention a funny fact about him is the only reason why he wears an eye patch is not because he wants to, or not because he needs to, but because he wants to, because his favorite historical figure has an eye patch. So there's that.
He's a big history nut.
He's a goober. He's a
For
goober.
Sengoku warlords.
Right? Warlords, but he's like a soft teddy bear, so there's also that.
That's how he thinks he wants to be. That's how he gets himself tough.
Right. And then he just reads a whole bunch of like how to date a girl books, and he would be that guy who owns like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Like, this is everything I need to not do to get a girlfriend. Like, that's why he would watch that movie. I'm pretty sure that would be his favorite date movie. I would bet my life on it. That would be his favorite date movie. So our next character is, take it away.
Takeru Hazuzuka.
Yay!
Or our donut loving boy, for everybody who
Yes.
knows his personality there.
Yep, he loves donuts, and he's kind of a turd.
Anything sweet, really. Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. His birthday is June 8th, and he is 24 years old. He is 166 centimeters, or 5'5". And Takeru Suzuka used to be a hacker at the Cyber Crimes Division at HQ, but quit due to personal reasons after a few months in the position. Due to past events in his life, he does not like guns. And we'll cover that when we talk about his route, because it's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. So yeah. So that is boy number 2. Boy number 3 is Kei Okazaki. He was born February 22nd. He is 26 years old. He is 175 centimeters, or 5'9". Kei was assigned to protect Yanagi and his team, although the reason for protection is unknown. So we'll talk about Yanagi in a minute, and about his team. So he's a very strange character. He seems to always be around. I don't think he actually properly sleeps. He always looks like he has dirt on him, so I'm pretty sure he just sleeps in the alley, because he also has a face mask, like an eye mask, with him all the time. So I'm pretty sure he just sleeps on the park bench. So there's that. He does have a sidekick. Oh, I didn't make a little slide for him. He does have a sidekick. His sidekick buys him random flavors of pudding and weird flavor things, because that's what he likes. He likes, he'll eat jalapeno pudding and enjoy himself on the park bench and take a nap. So there's that too.
Yeah.
He's
They're
strange.
adorable together.
He's a very strange human being. But our next character is
Kaguyuki Shiraishi. His
Shiraishi.
birthday is December 24th. He's 29 years old, and he's 186 centimeters, or 6'1". His guy's weird.
Before she even gets to his basic description, she's like, he's weird. It's flat out weird, sir.
That's his he's weird.
Perfect description. That's all you need to know.
Kaguyuki Shiraishi is an active duty cop who is a director in the crime lab, specializing as a profiler.
Yep.
So he's very different from everybody else. Also, that Kei is also still in the force as well. But so we only have like 2 people who are still in the force. Everybody else is no longer.
Well, except for the main character, Protag.
Well, yeah, but she
MC.
doesn't count.
I guess that's true. Cause yeah. Um, so we will describe him soon, and we'll also tell you about his fan club here in a moment. But we will talk about our last bachelor of the game, which is Yanagi. He's born September 5th. He's 28. He is 181 centimeters or 5'11. Yanagi was originally assigned to work in Investigation Section 1, but decided to leave to independently go after X-Day incidents. He formed a team consisting of Animoto, Suzuka, and Shiraishi. So there's you go. There's his team. Most of them are ex-cops, except for Shiraishi. And they have their own, like, I think almost half of them live in the agency because Yanagi and Animoto live there. And everyone else have their own
Hmm.
place. So,
Yeah, their little PI, private eye area.
right. So there is that. So oh, we have a few more characters to go over before we start talking about some of spoiler territory. We did want to mention Hoshino's younger brother. He is 18. Um, he is a high school student attending a private school. He lives in the same house as his sister, but he's rebellious and they are not close. Used to be, but not right now.
Mm.
However, he is sociable outside and is popular at school. He is in a band and is pretty good at playing the guitar, which da da da. Also, I can't remember that character's name, but he's voiced by
Ishiki.
yes, Ishiki. He's voiced by Shota, and I was so sad because there's a moment in the game where he's supposed to be like they're supposed to be playing a song, and it's like oh my god, they're gonna have like a song like Shota singing. Nope, it's just like MIDI music,
It's
and
just music.
I'm like,
Yeah.
you kill me. You had the opportunity and you have let it run away. I was a little sad with that, but there is also another character who is Wintie.
Yuzuru Saeki. Yuzuru is a supporting character and is introduced as a police officer who works inside a police box. He's also a longtime friend of Ichika. They actually went to the same, I think they called it the same cop academy or like something like yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Cop academy that they both went to before they both became rookie cops where they're
Mm-hmm.
at now. So he is her longtime bar buddy that she likes to go to the bars with pretty often just so they can go ahead and vent their frustrations about
Yeah.
their life.
Yep. So they're good friends. He pops in every once in a while throughout various routes and does random things and kind of hides in the shadows. Speaking of friends, we do have this beautiful duo of characters who I love this scene. I can't wait until we can talk a little bit about this scene. It's so funny. But they are the We Hate Shiraishi charter members because they have a fan club, quote unquote. They don't like him.
It's hilarious.
Mainly Mukai because she like works right underneath him and she is probably planning his death in her sleep. Like I'm pretty sure that's what she does.
Oh yeah, she probably dreams about killing him every single day. Let's be real.
Right, exactly. And
And Sakuragawa just hates him because of a petty reason. But
petty reason. And what was her she works like investigations, that's right. She works in investigations.
yeah.
So yeah, they're great characters. I really like them. I think they're really really fun, interesting characters. We do have a few
Yeah.
more characters to talk about. Oh, this layout doesn't look as good as I thought it did. Oh well. We have a few other police officers that we wanted to note. We have Moshida. Chi 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 chi. So he is essentially the MC's boss. He's super sweet. He's super nice. Is he has a wife and 2 kids or 1 kid? 1 kid.
He has like I think he has a kid coming. He has a wife and she's
Uh,
pregnant. He's
okay.
adorable. Like I wish
He
if he was
is.
my I would love to have a boss like him. He just seems like such an
Oh my
understanding and such a nice guy. It's just like,
He's
yeah.
so caring. He's like, okay, well, make sure you have your, have your lunch, take your break. If you need to go take a nap, make sure you take a nap. Like he's the best um character ever. Or like side character, best side character ever. He's just
I feel like this game really has really great side characters.
they
Like the
do.
story on its own is really good. Very it draws you in, and but like the characters, like they did such a like a really great job on even just like, the side characters. You get to really
Mm-hmm.
like know everybody, and kind of like they all have a personality. It's not just like a oh, side character A, side character B. You know, I'm not going to remember them after a couple of like chapter, after I pass them in this one part. I'm probably never going to remember them again. You remember these
Right.
characters. And it's
Exactly.
definitely, it's really, it's different. It's something you don't see in a lot of Otome games, honestly. So,
Mm-hmm. True. Very true. And we also have I guess they kind of like go hand in hand, Morioka and Seiji.
yeah.
They kind of like work with each other and they're kind of like I don't think one is really ahead of the other, so to say. They're kind of
Yeah,
like
no, I don't think so.
equal level playing ground, but it's like they have very different ways of like having authority, if that makes sense. Like I would say Morioka is very like I would say he acts like he's by the books, not necessarily like just the way that he talks. He's very by the books, and like
Hmm.
Seiji is just very like he's a little bit more coy. I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. Also, a little side note to go ahead and throw in is these characters are also important to our guy stories later on.
Yeah,
Um, Morioka and Minigishi are actually head ups of both of our old ex cops that we'll talk about a little bit later as well. So
yeah,
that's why they're also important.
yes, they are important. And then who was our last character here? Who is this?
Kenzo Satake.
What? I wish I found a better picture of him. There was nothing. I felt so bad. I was like, his picture is so low res. It's terrible. Sorry, sir. So what does he do? What's his character?
He was he was the head of the he's the head of the field ops where Animoto works. So
Yeah.
he actually used to be Animoto's boss as well. So
Yep. So he comes into play soon.
yes.
Um,
Oh,
and then since we talked about, should I show? I mean, I think this is where we should say it's spoiler because I don't want to introduce those other characters because I feel like that you kind of like learn who they are based off of their routes.
oh yeah. Hmm.
So I'll just
So
show. I don't show who they are or what they do, but I'll just show them because they're just general characters. So they do pop up. These are some other various characters that we will talk about, just so you can see what they look like. So great character design. So there is that. I feel like I've forgotten about somebody, but maybe not. No, I have not. Okay, I'm good.
no, you have everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I'm forgetting someone, but I'm not. Okay. So yeah, here's some more side characters. We'll reference back to this slide when
Oh
we
wait. Oh shoot,
wait.
you are forgetting somebody.
Who?
Um, big younger brother's friend.
Oh my gosh. I did.
Oh well, we'll talk about him. You just won't be able to see him.
Now we're going to go and start talking about the various routes, the characters, a little bit more in depth. So if you haven't played this game, definitely click on out and then come back once you've played the game. Again, check out the links below of where you can find the game. And if you've played the game, well, welcome to the danger zone. We
Enjoy
welcome
the
you.
ride.
Enjoy the ride as much as we have. So we are going to go straight into Animoto's route.
Our sweet
Yay!
cinnamon roll.
Sweet cinnamon
Woo!
roll. Who doesn't know how to date? Poor man. Um, so what was one character like not character? I was gonna say character flaw, but that is not the word I was looking for. So what is something that you really enjoyed about this route?
Well, like there was just so much character like change just for his like development and like just
Mm-hmm.
his story, you know, like
Right.
how he started off and stuff like that. Like he was very for a reason, you know, he just did not want, he was just kind of done with life almost kind of in a way. It was just like, I'm just gonna, you know, let things happen how they do. I'm not gonna try hard. I'm just gonna, you know, I'm not gonna put any more effort in my life at all.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually throughout the route and stuff like that, you know, he changed and he was actually trying to, you know, make himself better, change how he did stuff, you know, make an improvement in himself because he knew he needed to and move on from his past demons. And that's what I really liked about it. And also the comedy in it. Like the story is so deep,
Yeah.
but like he was like probably the only thing that would just like throw us a little like funny joke just right there and just make me
Yeah.
laugh. Um, which is something you really, really need sometimes when things are just so like, oh my gosh, you can just press, just a whole bunch of like sad, depressing,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, what's going on? And then all of a sudden he just
Right.
throws up a, you know, funny joke, and it was really
Or
funny.
right. Or is like not on the same page as everyone else and is just like all over the
Mm-hmm.
place and just kind of kind of chaotic because like when he reacts to things he doesn't have he I feel like he doesn't have a calm button. He just is like freaks out and is running around. He's like it's just yeah, he's
The
that's
picture they showed too as well when he like freaks out's hilarious. I love
oh
that
my
sprite.
god. I love it. Oh, you mean something like hold on. Where's my mouse? You mean something like nope, oops. You mean like that?
Yeah, that's such a funny picture.
I love that picture. This picture definitely describes their relationship very much to the T. I feel that's definitely their relationship right there. So
Yeah. What about you? What did you like about Animoto?
I liked how like sincere he was. I did like how there was like no kind of like beating around the bush with him. Like it just was like a very soft progression with like their relationship and stuff like that. Like I think that's what I really liked about it. Especially comparable to the other character routes. He definitely is like a breath of fresh air and he's just it's a sweet obviously there's nothing sweet about what happens in everyone's story, but like just the
There.
progression between the character, like the main character and him, and the way like their relationship progressed and the way he acts, and he was just like a very nice, sweet, and also very oh, what's another word? I can't remember. I've lost my words, but he's just I don't know. He's adorable, essentially. I mean, how can you not like how can you say no to that face? You can't.
Yeah, he's adorable. You can't.
Yes, he is adorable. So you do kind of progress in his story, and he gets super sweet. Like, I love this CG so much.
Oh yeah,
Even
me too.
so, as much as we want to gush and goo over how sweet he is, he does kind of have a very sad path. Which kind of
Hmm.
leads to each character has a different X day
Inner
event that they're
demon.
right. Well, that and it's a different X day that affects or incident that affects them personally. And his
Hmm.
was I can't remember the exact date for it, but it was one of the first ones where several cops were gone missing. And then they finally get shown up on a screen and they all get killed.
Hmm. While
Um,
wearing, mind you, like these hideous, like cartoon character, like bunny masks and stuff like that
Yeah,
on their head. Yeah.
like a mascot mask, like covering their face, and they're just tied up, and because essentially this group is trying to rid the world of people that they deem bad. So they
Yeah.
deem these cops of kind of like playing the system and getting people in trouble that shouldn't have. and like using their power as a cop to essentially get people killed or thrown in jail or in trouble or something like that. So this
Hmm.
affects him because it's like it's his partner, isn't it?
Yeah, he ends up finding out that one of the people who were killed, actually the only one that was actually found killed, because the other ones were all missing,
Yeah.
ended up being his superior that he actually looked
Ah,
up to and he
that's
got
right.
along with really well.
Right.
Um, and he always thought that he was not a bad person, but of course, after he found out that he was killed, that's when kind of all his past deeds came to light of what he did. He was a um, person who ended up kind of getting an inferiority complex, actually, based on Animoto.
Mm-hmm.
And so he feels, so he ends up mistaken arrest and doing a whole bunch of unprofessional, he shouldn't have done stuff as a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
And Animoto blames himself because I should have seen that he had problems with me. It was my fault that this happened. And
Right.
so it really takes a toll on Animoto, and that's actually the main reason why he leaves the police, his field ops agents his agency the well, technically
Division.
the agency, his field ops division, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
in the first place.
Yeah. And it's very heartbreaking because I feel like it's almost like he hides his sadness and his depression by being such this happy-go-lucky character. So it's almost like
Yeah.
sad to see him in a happy state because it's like he's using it to hide his true feelings, which is he's torn, he's broken, everything that he thought to be true or so especially like someone that you look up to. Like I wanted to be just like him, and then it's like makes him question everything. Like he finds out everything that he did, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I don't want to be like that." What? And then it's kind of like you lose that person that you look up to. Like now, who do I look up to? Now, what do I do? And he's lost. So he just
Hmm.
ends up leaving because of probably because he is so lost that he's like, now I don't know what kind of cop that I can be. So I just need to just not be a cop.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he ends up underneath Yanagi. And like we said, when we were just got on a little bit earlier, that he kind of lost all, like he was just not doing anything anymore.
Right.
Um, he was supposed to be investigating the certain case that involved these officers, but he was so afraid to actually investigate it because of the person who he looked up was the one that was killed, that he decided he kind of was just like acting like he was investigating it the whole time, but really was just like not at all. And Yanagi knew that, and it was, they were trying to get him to, you know, improve, and he just was refusing to,
Right.
you know, until
Yeah.
Ichika comes in. But
Yeah, and she kind of like breaks him out of his shell and like learn like she forces her way in because he like just does not want to share and he almost like wants to do everything himself, but it's like she's like, no, let me help you. Like I want, and she tries to make him understand like, no, you're not a bad person because he like you said he blames himself. So
hmm
yeah.
yeah, and in this route, actually, as well with the main police officer that was killed, that was Yamamoto's superior.
Hmm.
We can now name drop two of the culprits that we showed in the earlier picture. So, Hanako Kobayashi and Tomoki Ogata were the two top main villains that we get introduced in this route.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
because I kind of feel like Hanako, she kind of like instigates like she it's like her role isn't that big, but it's kind of like she helps it along, if that makes sense.
in this one, she was kind of actually pretty big because it was
She was, I thought.
yeah, because it was Ishiki. So um Because what happened is,
Oh,
yeah, I
that's
remember.
right. That's
So
right. Yeah.
Tomoki Ogata was actually both him and Ishiki were the ones that were accused wrongly of murdering a person on the train tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Ogata was actually just helping this person, and Ishiki was the one being bothered by this person. But the police officer that Minamoto looked up to blamed them for the murder, so they both got their face um, defamed, I guess you could say. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Slander.
Slandered. And Hanako, she is a obsessed person with Ishiki. And it's the reason why I don't know if you want to cover. Oh yeah, it's spoiler territory now, so we can.
Yeah. You can say whatever you want.
So yeah, so Hanako is actually the one who did the X-Day incident with the officer and was the one that actually killed um, Animoto's superior because of her anger towards him for what he did to Ishiki.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ogata was also another person who, because he was um, slandered by the police officer as well, he also ended up joining in as a person on Odaness as well. So
Yep.
and Hanako killed that police officer badly. Like I remember like seeing like the pic where they had to investigate the stuff and everything like that. It was
Oh
like,
yeah.
dang.
Oh yeah, when you have to click around and see everything, there was like blood everywhere. Like it
Mm-hmm.
is not not good. She's like
And she
yeah,
even
she's
wrote like the number in his own blood too. It was like, oh my gosh, how terrible.
yeah, she's super obsessive. She's like she probably would have killed anyone or even like everyone. She would have killed even if yeah, she's psycho. She's
Mm-hmm.
psycho for sure. So those are kind of like the main villains in this one that are because it's kind of like what they call it, not phantom, like a ghost. Like so the way it's set up is someone has an issue with something, so they kill someone else because of someone else. So say I have an
Proxy
issue,
murders.
right? Proxy murders. There we go. I have an issue with cop A, and Wintie has a problem with cop B. So I would do something and kill cop B, and in turn, Wintie would go and kill cop A because of
Mm-hmm.
how because it's like you wouldn't go after the person because that would be too obvious. So it's kind of like they take you out of the equation, but they have you do someone else's dirty deed to go after someone that they want killed because of them being wronged by somebody else. So it's kind of like getting all these people who have, grudges against somebody, and it's like kind of like manipulating them and using them, which kind of sucks. So, yeah.
Yeah, it also saves them because, like, obviously police officers can tell, oh, said and said has, like, they have a reason to hate blah 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 blah. But this other person who's the one that actually killed, who we're thinking someone that killed, makes no sense. They have a perfect alibi because they're not there at that
Right.
time supposedly because they're not the one that
Right.
killed them.
Exactly.
So that's how they kind of did it. And
Mm-hmm.
funny part about it is even though Hana had issues with the police officer, she was actually a proxy for Ogata.
Right.
So he actually was angry, but she used it as well because she was angry. So it was like justice for her, but it was
Right.
Ogata's wish and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was really bad too because actually I remember with Ogata, he after Animoto was kind of like moving forward, kind of that's when Ogata came in into the picture and was kind of like making Animoto like think again it was all his fault for what happened,
Mm-hmm.
and really was like opening wounds that he was trying so hard himself to heal. And I was like, oh, you're a terrible person. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So and he gets because we'll talk about the main route and then I guess like true route with each character, and then they're called like, I think it's called tragic love or tragic end.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's how it's classified as. Um, so we'll talk about those after we talk about the other routes, because I kind of feel like we just need to take like do like all the heartbroken parts. Like just wait till the end, do it all, and then do something funny. I don't know. It's like we need to
Sounds
do that in
good.
a bunch. Because I mean that's how I played it. I played all the true like the good routes, and then I went back and did like the tragic routes, and it was like ugh ugh.
Yeah, I did too.
I
Just
wanted to
break
feel
my heart
pain
there.
all at once and not like sporadically I'm gonna play this game. Because when I saw that it was called Tragic Route and not just like Bad Route, and I'm like, oh no, oh you're gonna kill me. This is terrible. Um, so yeah, and then of course them finding out about the proxy killers and all that kind of brings it to the end, and you have a cute little scene, and of course so on this one, so they do get her collar off in the good route in each of the good routes. Her collar comes off on this one because of
Mhm.
it's
Yep.
always because of Sasuke, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he went ahead and got it off her, I think.
Yeah. I think with
Yeah.
this one he's hacking into it because of that's right, because the what they do is there's something on or something implanted in each of the proxy killers, which makes them
Hmm.
like forget what they've done.
Yeah.
Because Ogata just like he's being questioned by the police, and then magically he's just kind of like his complete demeanor just completely forgets. He's like, what is happening, and everything like that. So it's like to prevent people from them saying too much, but not killing them, because then that would look bad on the group, because they themselves don't want to kill people. They want other people to kill other people, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, so because of I think something on Ogata or they find something on one of them, and then they're able to like hack it, and then because of that they're able to find like the passcode or something like that to get the collar off of Hoshino. I think that's how it goes on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Uh,
think it was. Sad part about it is that in everybody's routes, but Yanagi's, they don't catch oddness. They stop them per se, from fulfilling their X day, but they don't actually catch the main villain
yeah, because they like
and
find
stop
their
it.
hideout and they go to try to get them, and then it's like by the time they get there, they're like gone.
So that's what happened in Animoto's as well.
Hmm.
They didn't actually find oddness in this one.
Yeah. So, what was something that you didn't like about this route? Was there anything
Didn't
that you
like about.
just, yeah, was there anything that you didn't like about this route?
Mm, Not really. I
Other than the
I am
tragic
gonna throw this
ending.
out. I'm just gonna throw this out that I've gotten more used to it, but like I remember that when I first saw Animoto, I was just like, I'm really don't think I'm gonna like this guy. Just like I
Because
was just
he's
like,
that
this is
over the top
not my type.
character. Right, because he's that over the
Yeah,
top
he's
character, and it's like, I'm the same. I usually don't really like those loud characters, but like, most of the time, that's the character that I end up liking. So it's like, maybe I do like, but that's usually only in Otome games, though, because like, I like all the characters, to be honest. There's some where I'm like, it's hard to like them because of their route, to be honest.
hmm
Um, but I mean, they're all really, really, really good characters. But he reminds me a lot of Impy, and I love Impy. So
Yeah, he kind of acts like that too.
right.
Like I
He's
don't
just
know,
more coy. He's just more coy because he's like kind of shy, but Impy just wants like a fucking girlfriend, and
yeah.
Enimoto is just kind of like I can't.
It's
But
like I want a girlfriend, but I don't know how to. So I'm gonna watch, read a book on how to, what catchphrases to use to get a hold of a girl, and
right.
keep it secret and down low, And then, but of course, Takaru knows about his secret stash of his books and all his notes and stuff like that. Everybody knows about it. He just thinks that nobody does.
Right. Everyone's like, no, secretly, sir, we know exactly what you're up to. We just don't let you know that we know. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But oh my god. Oh, we also forgot to say Animoto's his main superior Satake, actually, the dude from the Kenzo Satake, he actually really really loved Enomoto,
Mm-hmm.
and because of so he actually Enomoto ended up in the care of Yanagi, actually, because of Satake, because he knew that Enomoto was leaving the division because of the guy he looked up to so much, and that he was like lost. So he knew Yanagi because of obviously Yanagi was also in a division as well, and he asked if he wouldn't mind taking care and pretty much in a way kind of adopting a son, because Yanagi's such a he's such a mommy.
Yes. He really would be like a mommy's boy. Like that's definitely the kind of character he would be.
And so that's how he ends up with Yanagi, and it's really sweet because he actually, Sasaki actually ends up helping Ichika as well, when she's trying to kind of break through Enomoto's barrier of, still, I don't want to have anything to do with this. I know I need to, but I really can't. I don't want to look up anything about the X Day incident. And
Right.
Satake was the one that kind of helped her and told her the story because obviously Ichika had no clue. That's how we figured out the story of what happened. And
Mm-hmm.
then she confronted Animoto, and it was definitely a needed confrontation. And I'm glad that he was able to work himself out, baby boy.
I know. Precious man. Precious man. Any final thoughts on him before we move on?
um,
Mm,
no, I think I'm good. I think we
okay.
touched everything.
We good?
Yeah,
We
yeah, we're
good.
good.
All right. Are we ready to move on?
Let's go.
Da-da-da! I love the CG so much. I can't tell you. Just I love how intense his eyes are. Like I love this is also like one of his first CGs where it's like just him with the main character and he's just like looks like he's gonna like just make her
I mean,
pass
he's
like
kind
just
of
take her
joking
out.
her.
Well, yeah. I mean, because essentially when everyone meets her,
Details.
like they do not trust her, and he really does not trust her. Like absolutely does not.
Mm.
So it's yeah. So that this scene towards the beginning of his route, he's pretty intense because he's like so doubtful of her, and he's so like wants to keep his distance from her. So yeah, it's pretty intense to say the least, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I wish I remember all the pictures in order that I did. What's the next? Oh, okay. So this is a good one. So, as much as he's very distant, he usually doesn't like sharing his donuts, but he does share a donut with her. So it kind of shows a side of him, being like opening up and kind of softening a little bit because he's pretty. He's kind of a hard ass, I guess you could say,
He's a prickly boy, very prickly boy.
just like his hair.
He kind of doesn't change. Like, I probably out of like the character changing a lot, he doesn't kind of change. He changes, but like he doesn't change. It makes
His
he's still
personality,
very
right, his personality
yeah
doesn't change, but the way he treats her changes. Like it's
yeah
still in his fashion, but it's not done because he doubts her or doesn't trust her. It's just because now it's like I'm going to tease you out of love kind of a thing.
yeah. He's
Mhm.
a very very big tease. Yes, he's definitely the tsundere here.
Absolutely 100%. Um so in his route we did mention in his profile that he does not like guns. And the reason one of the things that he is investigating or trying to take care of on in his route is when the government allowed the citizens of Shinjuku to have firearms because it is illegal to own and possess firearms. I believe in all of Japan. I don't think that's like a
Yeah.
thing. Um, so they to allow citizens to protect themselves, they have like a government issued handgun. Um, so it's like the government knows how much ammunition they have. They can tell if a weapon's been fired, what weapon it's been fired from. So it's like if you shoot at somebody and they find the bullet, they're able to like narrow it down to who shot that gun. So he is not a fan of that. He doesn't believe anyone should be able to possess a gun. He does not like guns at all, and he wants that to be reinstated, the gun ban, because of those reasons. So in his past, he lived through a very traumatic situation where a gun was involved,
Yeah.
and it it tears away at him. But yeah, he has super traumatic experience. So there's a moment in the game where he kind of freezes, and Hoshino has to shoot at somebody, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't know what to do, and it's almost like he's not himself, and he completely loses like all self-control and all reasoning, and he doesn't know what to do with himself. So um could you explain why, like what happened in his past that caused him to have such like, I guess, some form of like PTSD to
Mm-hmm.
like being around like, I don't want to say being around a gun period, but being in a
It's
situation
kind of like
where a
that.
right, being in a situation where a gun is going to be used.
Yeah. So he actually, so we found out actually that Takeru lived in New York at one point. So of course we're gonna throw up. I'm throwing the U.S. under the bus here.
No shame, no. We
uh,
have no shame. We're American citizens, so we can
yeah.
talk about it.
But so I guess he ended up losing his mother to guns actually because of a gang fight. I guess they were in an area
Hmm.
in New York where unfortunately there were gangs and they ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time with a gang fighting and they ended up in between the crossfire. And
Hmm.
unfortunately his mother was killed right in front of him. And that's kind of what caused the PTSD and why he can't like he actually in this CG right here we're showing he when she was being Ichiko's pointing the gun at the criminal and she was having a gun pointed at her as well.
Hmm.
So like when she shot him, um obviously Takeru was freaking out thinking that possibly she was shot. So he was like making sure her heart was beating here and was like, please tell me you're alive. It was a really, really like oh gosh, that scene I remember like
Yeah, it's
I was like, oh my
intense.
gosh. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
that was the first time we ever saw him like so like not together. Because the whole route, Takadu was just pretty much like, just like kind of stoic. And like all of a sudden you just
Hmm.
see this CG and is like, oh my gosh, what
Yeah.
happened to you?
And like the
What's
way
wrong?
right, the way he acts and the way he talks, he's just very, very distraught. Like you could, it's like he's going into a full on like panic attack, and he can't control his emotions. He can't control, like, to me it feels like he can't control his heartbeat. He can't calm himself down. He can't control his emotions. He can't control anything. Like, it's just his brain has flipped into panic or survival mode, and he doesn't really know what he's doing. Is the way
Hmm.
that I kind of translated it, which is super intense. Like,
Yeah.
um I personally, I don't think that I mean, I've had moments where um I would say was like a mini meltdown where I didn't know what to do, and I didn't really know how I was acting, I guess you could say. Um and I have some close family and friends who have had moments, and it's kind of it's scary, and it's sad because it's like you want to help them and you don't know how to help them because everyone is a little bit different, and like especially when weapons are involved, it's kind of like you don't want to scare or make it worse for the other person, because what if that person just acts very irrationally and it's like you end up shooting at them or hurting them. So it's almost
Yeah.
like Hoshino is like, oh my gosh, what do I do? I don't want to hurt him, and I don't want to get hurt myself, because she's starting, that's when she really realizes like how, like the severity of like his negativity towards guns is. And it's a very, very intense scene. um Especially
At
when
this
you're
time, though,
used.
she didn't know. She
Right.
still didn't know his past because he hadn't told her yet.
Right, because
But yeah.
she knew he didn't like guns, but she didn't know why or how, like the emotion of it was for him. And like kind of putting, like if I was in that kind of situation, like I don't know what I would do. And it's a hard decision, especially for like a main character like that, and like seeing a completely different side of another character. And it's yeah, it's heartbreaking really to see like a character
Yeah.
just fall apart. Like essentially he was at his breaking point, he was falling apart, but that also led to the like how much he actually cared for her, and like probably her
hmm
realizing how much he cared for her, like cuz she was just acting like a cop, and she just, didn't think anything of it until like he had that moment. And it was just kind of like she finally realized, oh, he really does like me. He does care for me. And I need to be more careful with my life, so to say.
hmm
So, but I'm trying to remember what was his the proxy killers in his route. What was,
It was that Mochita, no, not Mochita. It was the I'm gonna do the that dude. Manabu the
oh, that's
Manabu
right, because
Soda
they
dude.
were in the alley with him. Yeah, and
hmm
she shoots at him and tries to like disable him, so to say. And it's like he was scared that he was going to act and shoot at her. And it was just kind of like, but he was like in between. So it was like, you're at the standoff with this very crazy, like literally a guy who's like, you don't know what he's going to do because he's just batshit crazy.
Yeah, this
And
guy's really, really bizarre.
right, super bizarre. And it's like the way he talks, like it's the voice actor did a really good job of like portraying that like he is just off the deep end. So
Oh yeah.
for
hmm
sure. Um, but that was, yeah, that was, or soda,
Soda.
soda. I'm pretty sure that's not how it's pronounced, but I just think it's funny.
But like
American.
in Takaru's route though, like so like the main so the case that he was solving, so like we said that in Animoto's route, for example, he was solving the first X Day incident.
Mm-hmm.
In this one, they're solving the one that happened in August. I don't remember what number this was, but it was the one with the there was a huge serial murder. This is actually the one that caused the weapons ban to be lifted up for Shinjuku in the first place because unfortunately a whole bunch of killings were happening all over the place in Shinjuku and they were all linked to a online RPG game.
Right.
And these were all people of a certain guild. They were all in the exact same guild, the Shinjuku Guild, and all these people were killed based off of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when the ban was lifted. So Takaru, obviously, because he's in cybercrime, so he's already kind of like, computer nut. It has to do with video games, and, obviously, it's his main motive of trying to bring back the ban. He decides to take up this case. That's what they're trying to solve in all of Takaru's route, who caused this murder here.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Manabu. So, well, it was actually his proxy murder. It was him who wanted this to happen because unfortunately he was a big video game nut and he
Mm-hmm.
was a god in the digital world. That's his thing.
Right.
And
He was,
unfortunately a bug happened.
yeah, and he was distraught that he wasn't like he wasn't able to go into the game and be the top dog, and now he's lost that.
Because of a bug that happened in the game and stuff like that, he like froze, I think it was, in the game, and so he wasn't. All the people that automatically turned their backs on him, or like saying that he just didn't care about them, and so because of that, he was like defamed on the internet and lost all his friends, and that was like the end of his world because he was what we call a neat in
Yeah.
Japan, that term. So
But it's so strange, like how intense. Like I know some online games, people get super intense. Like people can get like if you're not in the guild at a certain time, playing these like skirmishes and stuff like that, and dungeon runs or whatever it is in the game that you're playing, whatever they're called. It's like they will like kick you out, and like he was probably like in that kind of a status. But it's also kind of crazy that they would be like instantly be like, oh, well, he doesn't want to help us anymore, even though he was the person that was like helping everyone. Like he helped
yeah.
everyone. He was like the person everyone looked up to. And it's like his character randomly stops moving and then like everyone dies and they lose and it's like they want to instantly like rat him out and like call him out, and it's like that's kind of like intense and kind of in my opinion would be weird. I'd be like, oh my god, are you like what's going on with your character, what's going on with your game, like what's happening? And it was, didn't things like he start losing like status in the game and like I don't like money or something? I thought there was something he lost in the game, like stuff in the game that made his character like high ranking characters. I thought there was something about that. For some reason I can't
I
remember,
don't
but
know if it was in that one, but like he was still playing the game, but I guess he made like a new character
uh,
after the killings happened, stuff like that, and he was trying to. So I remember he was thrown into the slammer actually because he's not really a really great secretive guy. Let's be real.
right. He's not.
He was pretty much just like in your face. I'm an actual evil person, but I'm gonna pretend I'm not. But he was like trying to still play the games on his phone and stuff like that, and because there was an event going on in the game and he was trying to, I think he was playing a new game and there was an event going on in that new game and he was trying to get the stuff, so I think that's where the stuff that you were talking about came into being. But
Okay.
yeah, I don't think he lose anything, but I just think he lost, well, he lost everything, he
Yeah.
put a lot of work into that game from before, and then he was like, everybody just pretty much dumped him, which after we heard his story, I did feel a little sorry for him. Like he was probably like it's just, all these bad characters in a way. Like you end up, except for Hanako, I didn't have anything for her, but like
We don't feel
you.
sorry for her at all. Absolutely
But
not.
I do. She was crazy. But everybody else though, like there's like their story. It's just so like you feel sorry for them. And you can see why they're doing what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's not right, but like you just, you can kind of see why they turned to what they did because you feel sorry for them, which is like, I hated feeling sorry for them. I'm like, why do I feel sorry for you? But I do.
Right. Him not
But
so much. He's crazy. But yeah, and then they have the standoff and everything. But because he also does the same thing. He gets questioned and he just completely forgets. And then he even forgets what happens like in the game and like freaks out, doesn't he? I thought he
oh
like
yeah,
when
yeah,
he
yeah.
right when he starts to forget things because they did the whole like drug thing or something that's on him that's initiate or injecting the drug for them to like forget like the past like 5 months or whatever their time in um that they're being the proxy or whatever, and it's like he doesn't even, I'm pretty sure because he doesn't even remember that what happened in the
That
game
he missed the
happened.
event.
Yeah, he starts freaking out about the event and they're like, this happened months ago with this like what's and it's that he has like a huge meltdown, like completely, and then he's like he wants his phone, so finally like they give him his phone and it's like, yes, it's not he's not stable. It's crazy. Obsessive a little bit, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Takeru also like he ends up. So the gun scene that we actually showed ended up happening also, I think was because Takeru was trying to catch him. Because at that time they had not caught Manobu yet. So
Mm-hmm.
at that time they were trying to catch him. So they ended up Takaru ended up like kind of pretty much restaging the whole thing that he knew that happened to Manabu in his game in the new game. He ended up making joining the guild that Manabu started again, and ended up turning everybody against him. And that broke him again. That's what kind of led to the scene that he was shooting at Ichika, and Takaru almost had a breakdown. But yeah,
Intense.
it was it was really intense. And again, at the end of that one, they didn't catch
Yep, they run away.
anybody. But Manabu, so he wasn't the one who did the actual crime in August. He was the reason why it was caused. Right, there were so many people that were killed. But the one that he did do was the crime that we saw with the guy that was tied to the chair. When the Adonis kind of started doing like sporadic killings because they were just they were kind of getting a little desperate.
Right.
He did do that one though. So like we didn't so we actually got to see him in action at one point. But yeah. Action.
But we can get into the good stuff. He has such a sweet ending because he's just so cute. And adorable.
I like that picture. I really like his colors are just so pretty. Like I really like the coloring like they did in this game. It's like the art is just so pretty.
Yep. The eyes, his hair, just like everything about this game is just like the coloring is so nice. I love it so much. It's so good. So what's something that you really enjoyed about this route?
In Takaru's route, I really did enjoy the I guess really just like the scenes between MC and in between Ichika and him, honestly. Like they were like just really adorable together. Because sadly he didn't really like ever treat her as completely an equal. That was one thing that was kind of sad. Like in Animoto's, he treated her as an equal as soon as he opened up to her. Takaru was still always just kind of like the smarter one, which was kind of sad that they were never actually completely equals. But their scenes though were really cute together, and I also really like in how he got along with Ichika's brother.
Oh yeah, I love how each of them have like a moment with the brother. I forgot to mention that in Animoto's route where he's kind of like, "Hey, what up, bro?" And he's like, "Why you calling me bro?" Like he was like, "Pardon, who is this?" And he was just such this big character, and he was like, this is a lot. This is a lot to handle." But I love how he's like kind of whips his brother into shape, and he's like, "Hey, yo, dude, you need to like." Not act like it's I love how they like act like almost like a big brother to him, and it's kind of like whip him into shape almost like, hey, your sister actually cares about you, stop being a little turd.
Oh yeah, because in each route also the brother issue gets solved. Because he hates his sister because he doesn't think that she likes his band work. So he like
Well, she doesn't
completely
even
like
know, he just thinks that she just doesn't care, or like it's almost because like it's like the
he
family
was
like him.
infuriating.
Yeah, because like the family like him better, and they want him to like follow in the family footsteps and take over like the family business and stuff like that. And it's kind of like Hoshino feels like she has to like make her own name, since it's like everything is going to be left to the brother, and he's like, well, I don't want that. And it's kind of like he feels like she doesn't care that he doesn't want that, and he just wants to reject everything about it because he thinks, he's a teenager. He thinks that she doesn't care and is gonna like make him do the business. And she's like, no, I will support you, and I don't care what the family say. I will tell the family that I'm going to support you in the route that you want to take in your life. And it's like she sticks up for him, and when he finally realizes that, he becomes like a really good character.
Well, he does, but oh gosh, when we first were introduced to him, I was just like, I hated Kazuki. I was like, you know what? You are such a brat.
He is a brat. He's still kind of a brat, but I love there's a part later in I think it's Yanagi's route where I have to talk about it because I think he's so funny. But yeah, I do like how it's like they kind of whip him into shape and kind of it's nice that that gets resolved and it's not just like a prolong, like that's just the way they are because they're brother and sister. It's like, no, this is gonna get resolved. And I like that it's like the boys that kind of help push it along where it's kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you did not like about this route or in his route other than being heartbroken
I kind of like
about?
already. I guess I kind of touched to that part. Like just the fact that like they never were
Yeah,
equal
yeah,
terms. Like I mean, like I said, like Animoto, they both ended up kind of like being on the same playing grounds. But then in Takaru's, it was always kind of like I'm still smarter than you
yeah,
the whole time, and it's just like they weren't ever just. It wasn't ever like they're both the same. On the same playing grounds. So that
right,
was probably the only little thing that kind of bothered me a little bit. What about you?
yeah. I feel like I didn't get that kind of a feel. I feel like he's still obviously developing as a character because he still has that like very much tsundere type of personality. But I do like that he opens up and softens up like around her, but like still
Mm.
kind of like he doesn't lose his character at all. Like he's still his own character. He still has his own his personality, but it's like he's trying. It's like I feel like there's moments towards the end where he's like trying to not be like a dick to people, but he's like, I'm still kind of annoyed by you. You know what I mean? Like he's like trying to be nice, but he's like, I'm still
Mm-hmm.
annoyed by you, so please leave me alone, kind of a thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, so that leaves brings us to our third route, which is I guess we could
Okay.
call him dumpster boy. He probably would have slept in
Oh,
the dumpster if he had to. Like he would have no issue with it. So
probably. A quick side note, just to let everybody know. For
yes.
Tekaru and Suzuka, you can technically play them both like it doesn't have to be in that route in that order. I would say those two are kind of like the two that you can kind of like choose which one you want to start with. So if you want to go with the tsundere type first when you first start the game, it's okay to do Takaru first and then do Animoto. Those two
Mm-hmm.
you can kind of play with. But when it comes to like the later characters, I think K and going on further down will
Yeah,
be the
these
better
last two, yeah,
option.
definitely.
Yeah.
Um, so we're introduced to this character. He doesn't know anything, like, because the other two do know about her collar, and they're kind of like tasked with helping her out and everything, and getting the collar off. Um, but Kay does not know because he's technically part of the police, and they don't want the police to know about her collar or they'll kill her. So he
Uh-huh.
doesn't know, and I don't really know what his motives is in the beginning of the game, why he acts the way that he does, because like he's like, oh, I'll walk you home, or oh, I'll do. I feel like he's maybe using her slightly to like maybe find out. Like he's very suspicious of her. Like he's like, there's no way that you're like they never take on a case. Like he knows why they're a group, what they're doing, and like the fact that she's like a case that they're taking on to like solve her issue, and he sees right through it, but he's trying to figure out why. And I think
Uh-huh.
that's why he's like trying to be so like nice and like close to her at the beginning of his route.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think so too.
but he does find out pretty fast about the collar though. So but he finds out pretty fast. So they're investigating. um she kind of upsets somebody that she's questioning. But she goes back to question them, right? She goes back to question them again, I believe. So
Mm-hmm.
right, yeah, because she upsets them. It's
Yeah.
actually someone who um Sagao, the Rika, right? She's
Ring a
questioning
person.
her.
Yep.
Yeah, she's
Mm-hmm.
questioning
Yeah.
her about something, and she goes back to try to question her again. And does he hear the caller? He hears the caller talk to her, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he
Because
hears the caller, and then he's like instant like he's very much into his job, So it's kind of like, I feel like even if he had feelings for her at this moment, he would have like killed her. Like absolutely would have killed her if he had to.
Yeah.
Like it's very strange the way his brain works, I feel. But he hears the caller and then sees the caller and like instantly thinks that she's like,
Oh wait, I don't think he hears the caller. Actually, I think it's just Rika notices the caller and she makes a notice about it and brings up about, are you part of us too? And then that's what he heard actually. I think that's actually what happened.
oh,
I think he heard the caller in one of the bad ends, and that's what he kills her. Yeah, yeah.
okay. I'm trying to like remember because it's like I don't know what.
Yeah. In K's route, the main villainy type thing that we're dealing with in this one is the Rika, like you said, and
Right, because she
the
had a
stalking
stalker.
incident. The
Mm-hmm.
stalking incident, which she ended up having somebody kill the stalker that was stalking her, and she's also the one that was in charge of the fire that happened in one of the scenes as well. That had another stalker die in. As well, that's what Ichiko was going to get investigated because she felt bad because Rika obviously was just um, she wasn't really helped by the police when she was trying to reach out and she was trying to be a good person. She was just asking for them to help her.
Right.
And of course, the police weren't really, helping her or anything like that. So Ichika feels bad about that, responsible, thinking that shouldn't have been, that shouldn't have happened. We should have helped her. Because Rika is definitely, a broken person. She definitely kind of like is feeling like, she's just worthless, and everything like that, because she has just bad luck because of all these guys who just, for some odd reason, continuously stalk her. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's why we come across her at the house, and Kay just kind of follows her because he's, helping her. Obviously, like Gwen said, because I think he was just suspicious of her because she was hanging out with Yanagi's group at first.
Right.
Um, Yeah, and this scene, I was like, oh my god, I thought that he was gonna kill her. I was
I was
like,
like,
oh
did I pick the
no.
wrong option? Did I what did I do? What
Yeah, and
happened?
then the caller spoke here afterwards. Yeah, because he was going to kill
Ah,
her, and then the
right.
caller spoke here, telling him the reason why she couldn't say anything because she was keeping her mouth shut, obviously, because he's a police officer and she didn't want to die there, so she wasn't saying anything.
Right. But obviously the person on the other side of the collar did not want her to die either. So it was like had to intervene and tell him kind of like these are the rules, like this is why she's here and everything. But he's still kind of suspicious of her even
Hmm.
after that.
Yeah, they don't
Um
see each other for a couple of days.
mhm. Yeah. Oh, I didn't put a picture of him being his kind of inner turmoil, but his inner turmoil is he's works as an SP, so their main job is to protect VIPs or very important people of any kind, a president, a diplomat, a foreign leader, anything that the government would need protection or could be dangerous if something happened to them. That's why a lot of people are suspicious of why he's always hanging around like Yanagi's group because it's kind of like, he's supposed to be protecting like important people. Why is he protecting us? It makes zero sense. Um,
Yeah.
so um, so in a previous protection job that he had, he was let his guard down, and the person he was protecting like their house gets set on fire, or it's just they get shot.
Mm-mm. No, like there was actually a undercover person that was there for Adonis actually, and ended up
Right.
causing like a leak to happen in their protection. Obviously there's SP, so they're gonna have. I guess how they had it set up is like they were, they all knew where each other were, and I guess because
Mm-hmm.
they had this mole in the SP, um, they were able a VIP person was almost placed in danger and stuff like that, and the building that they were in was set on fire. Um, and Kay ended up getting scared you know, it's a human thing, a human reaction that, you know, to be scared of dying. You know, nobody wants to die.
Right.
And but he, you know, and from that, you know, the his one of his coworkers ended up like pushing him out of the way of a falling pillar or something like that. Something was falling from the building that was, you know, coming down, and he was saved, but that coworker died. Which then later on we do figure out though that that coworker was the mole that was
Right.
sent there by Adonis,
Mm-hmm.
and he pretty much told Kay, "This is all your fault," as he was dying. But the thing is, you're telling him that, but yet you saved him.
Right. You saved him, but you're the mole, and also like they were like it was like his best friend, like the one he always relied on, kind of a
Mm-hmm.
thing. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's almost like they felt guilty, and because of that guilt, they didn't want to have that guilt as they died, so they put that guilt on him.
Mm-hmm. And he told like Kay to kind of like to not have a death like he did. So, and that in turn kind of got Kay some screws loose,
Yeah,
so
and
to say.
he wants to die protecting the person that he loves, which in turns ends up being Hoshino.
Mm-hmm. He just wants to die like a meaningful death. He
Right.
doesn't, you know, so he wants to make sure he's protecting somebody important. It's not a bad death where it has no meaning or anything like that. He wanted to be, I guess, proud of his death, and he was looking like actually like thoroughly looking for a reason to die, and that was
Mm-hmm.
where his screw became loose from that incident right there.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like one of the things that I like didn't like about his route is because of how like even though he like had feelings for Hoshino, it's like his end goal was to like die for her, and she's like, "No, I don't want your goal in life to die for me. I want your goal in life is to just be with me and love me." Like if
Yeah,
it
live with me.
right, and if it ends up, that is how you die is protecting me, then that is what it is. But she didn't want that to be his end goal in life, is to literally sacrifice his life for hers.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he never understood that.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel
Yeah,
like
no,
that's
he hasn't.
yeah, and I feel like that kind of like was a moment that kind of rubbed me the wrong way with him. And it was just kind of like not I don't know, not my preferred like it it's
It's
weird.
understandable. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's like it almost feels like it's almost like he loves her just so because he knows that he would be okay with dying for her. Like he doesn't truly love her is the what kind of like the feeling that I got from his route.
Like eventually he does like actually like grow like the actually I think his feelings do grow a little bit more, you know, especially like near the end. But like
Mm-hmm.
especially like when he chose but after he figured out that you know why she had the collar and that she was somehow linked to Adonis, that's when they separated for a couple of days, and then when he came back he was just like he automatically just like you're the one. I know that you're like you're a good cause for me to like link on to, and you know if I die protecting you, well, you're a very important person, you know. And then eventually he actually starts getting feelings for her throughout the process and stuff like that. But yeah, he still never really understood Ichika when it came to like I don't want you to have your main goal just to die, you know.
Right.
So this scene was freaking adorable though when they were
I
watching
know.
horror movies.
I know. And her eyes are just like, oh no, this is intense. And then that's when he like almost like enjoys it. He goes, oh, you don't like this, do you? And it was yeah. I feel that was the best moment in there in this in this route
Yeah, it was
is
pretty
the
funny because like
greatest.
she was like literally like saying she was like don't I think it was like something with like the whole like the usual like don't open the closet or something like that or don't do
Right. Don't do it. Don't look behind the bushes that are mysteriously making noises and rustling. Like, don't do it. Very stereotypical like horror movie type of actions that
Mhm.
characters do in those movies. But and also I feel like you have the same feelings as I did for like his good route. Like, I was like, at what? 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 I was like, what is happening? Because like I was so confused of what was happening. I was like, what did I do? I'm dying, right? Like I'm dying? Like what?
Yeah, when this scene happened and then it cut to like the credits, I was like, what?
I
No.
know. I was like, what? But she wakes up and they have like this cute little moment in the hospital bed. But like literally this is uh
Yeah, it was. Oh yeah. Quick also back to another character we actually get introduced here on the villain side of the spectrum thing is the guy who was actually an ex-police officer
yeah.
himself, was supposed to be
Sanju?
Sanjo. Yeah,
Yeah.
Sanjo. He was the one. He's actually the one that killed all those people in the August one. He was the one who went around killing all those people for soda.
Mm-hmm.
But we figured out that he was like, I guess he was bullied pretty badly by his superior, and which kind of caused him to just quit. And he, which we figured out, also kind of had the same kind of viewpoint in life as Kay did, that he's just looking for somewhere to die. That's what Sanjo even said himself to Kay, as they had like a pretty intense meeting with each other. Because there was they had leads onto him, they found him and stuff like that, and they found out that he was part of Odonis, and he kind of like set a trap for them in a way in the Odonis headquarters. He had them go there, and Ichika actually went on her own there first. Was trying to go there on her own, but then Kay figured out that she was trying to go on her own there, and that's where they had the standoff between those two. And that's when he said, like, you have the same eyes as I do, and just like, okay.
Yeah, it's like an intense, like their guns are pointing at each other, and it's like anything could happen right now.
And Rose so worried there too. I was like, oh gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ichika was shot protecting Kay, because I forgot who it was that tried to shoot Kay. Was it Sanjo? It may have been him, or maybe somebody else.
I think so.
But so she tried to shoot Kay, and then she jumped in to save Kay, because obviously she loves him, and he was just like,
distraught.
why did you do that?
Right. This is supposed to be me right now, not you, kind of a thing.
Yeah. And it was just like, her feelings for him are so like, it was just like, oh, Ichika, you're such a good girl. I mean, I swear.
Yeah, she wants to help him realize how important life is.
So, which Kay just didn't really. He's kind of an airhead about anything other than SP stuff.
Right, exactly. He's a little slow to the romance side of life, so to say.
Yeah.
So what's something that you really enjoyed about this route? Was there anything that that you really liked, or
Let me see about Kay's. Well, his the interactions that he had between his superior, his little underling and him, were really, really cute. That was really funny. But also just really, I think the part that I really liked the most was, I mean, I kind of already liked Kate when I first saw him. He was like my type of person, so
yeah.
But I think what I really liked about it was just that was just the real like true feelings that you got from Ichika. Like, I really like understood how she felt, and for him and stuff like that, and was like, oh, it was cute. Like, her feelings towards him were adorable, and how he sent her like little emotes was funny and cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I guess I don't really have like a huge favorite part about that route, but just those little things. Yeah. What about you?
So my favorite thing about his route is this scene, because I feel like you actually see him like off duty, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he never is off duty at all. Like, this is the only
never.
moment that he's like actually like off the clock, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it is actually. And that's just you actually get to see him as a person versus like
Right.
anything else.
Right. You don't see him as an SP. You see him actually as like K. You see him as him.
Yeah.
Horror movie loving weirdo that we all know and love. Um, so I think that we can depart ourselves into the next route, which is the most intense route, in my opinion. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
even true route. Like he is, sir, you are fired.
Shiraishi.
Oh my god. So I loved his character design. I was like, this is gonna be the character that I like. I just know it. And like I wanted to like his character and his route so much, but I was so torn about him. I feel like I'll probably like him better in the fan disc. I still don't know if I'm gonna play the fan disc pre quote unquote patch. I don't know if that I don't know what to do because like I want to play it so bad because like I've seen certain
Yeah.
CGs and I just like I feel like I will like the characters that I didn't care for as much more in the fan disc. So, but it's anyway, fan disc is a different podcast. But
I will say though that I did like and appreciate Shiraishi's character a lot better my second replay. So
did
like
you?
I did because like I said, I played all the good ends first before, and then I like stopped it, and then I went back to replay like the whole game through and stuff like that, including like the ends I didn't get. And I
Mm-hmm.
did end up like I remember I hated Shiraishi actually.
I did. I
I
just felt so confused and torn, and I think it's because of his inner turmoil. Why it was. It's his inner turmoil is very, very intense, and it's very like he can be controlled. He's brainwashed essentially. He is to the point where it's like someone could snap his fingers and have control over him. Like it's
mhm,
super intense and very oh what's the word? What's a really good word? Psychological.
whipped.
His route is
Yeah.
very psychological.
Yeah, it is. But like
Um
I said, I liked it a lot better. I ended up like, why did I hate you so much? Like, I actually feel sorry for you. You're actually a precious baby boy who needs to be protected. I was just like getting those more feelings as I was
it
replaying it.
well
So it was just,
it's probably because you knew what to kind of expect as you played it through the second time around versus the first time around. You were like, all this stuff keeps happening, and you're like, what is happening? Why does it just keep getting more and more intense? Like when does it end? You know, like when does the crazy and the intensity stop? And when you
yeah,
replay a route like this, I feel like you know what's happening, so you kind of like know what to expect, and you maybe start noticing different things about said character or said route.
probably.
Mm-hmm. Let me look at the slides real fast. Okay. Um, so he does kind of have a character where he's almost like planned, so to say. Um, he's very like prestigious and like careful with the way that he says things. It's like he never says too much and he never says it's like he's always dangling her at like the end of the string. Like, oh, he doesn't want to
Hmm.
give too much to her. Um and that I think that's kind of what is I don't know what I'm trying to say, but that's how I kind of feel that he's but it's also like an inner battle because like you know certain things that he does you can tell that he wants to do like especially when he's giving her like this little phone charm and stuff like that. I feel like
This was the sweetest, awesome. Like, I loved this scene. It was so cute. I was like, oh.
I feel like him doing this it's something that he wanted to do but subconsciously he didn't know it was something that he wanted to do because of the way that his brain is wired. So it's kind of like he knew that it was something that he could use to his advantage, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's like something that he subconsciously wanted to do, but thought he was doing it because he was getting closer to her, so to say.
Yeah.
So to really kind
He
of,
did a lot of like to himself dialogue in his route as well as
mm-hmm,
you go through. He like speaks to himself a lot, and he does it like
yeah,
out loud.
yeah. So really to kind of to talk anymore about his route is to really understand what's going on with Shiraishi. So, um, essentially, at a young age, he was manipulated on a psychological and mental side, where he essentially was bred to be a profiler to help Ad- Adonis, right? Is that how you say it?
Adonis, I
Adonis?
call it Adonis.
Adonis? I'll
Yeah,
just say
Adonis.
Adonis then. So essentially, Adonis programmed him, and Shiraishi technically is not his name. He's like number 5, or he has like a number assigned to him. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really have an identity. He's a tool for Adonis, and he is trying, it's almost like he's trying to separate himself from it because he sees another side to life through Hoshino, and and then it also causes him confusion because like I kind of felt weirded out when she was like at his house because it almost felt like he was trying to like almost pull like a Toma thing and like keep her there, and like
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to keep her there because he could control her, but also I think he wanted to keep her there because he wanted to protect her, because if she was there, he could he had control over the situation, so to say. But she starts to kind of nosy around in his room as he's like taking a shower, and she's like found out like being super super nosy in his apartment, and that's when kind of like it gets kind of intense, I think, because like it's
Mm-hmm.
also when she tries to like snap him out of it. So like in this scene, I feel like he starts to realize like her, if that makes sense. Like he has like a brief like this. I feel like he's like, oh shit, I'm in trouble because I'm getting close to her for more reasons than what I'm supposed to be getting close to her for.
Yeah. Shiraishi, he only saw himself as the number. I think what the number was 9 that he
9.
was. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it was 9 or something like that. And he like that he was since he was born in oddness and stuff like that. He always like just got to know that he had no mind power. No, there was no him. But he
Mm-hmm.
started, making himself like when he was with Ichika, there was a Shiraishi, and she always saw him as a Shiraishi. He was a person, and he doesn't think he is a person. He has no willpower, and that was really the inner turmoil that he had within himself. That it was just like I'm not. I have no. I can't think for myself. I have no thoughts. I'm not a person. I'm just a thing, a puppet. And Ichika got mad at him when she was like, I'm trying to remember exactly what she yells at him for, but I think it was like something over like that he was I think it was over something like she was not a person, yeah, like you said. Like I think he was
Mm-hmm.
also kind of treating her as like a thing. And then she was like, I'm a person.
Right.
I'm a
I'm a
and
human being.
you're a person too, because I think she was also getting angry at how he was treating himself, because I think he was also kind of saying that he was a thing and not a person. So
Right.
she mostly got angry at him for degrading himself, and
Right.
um I remember he got so angry at how she got angry at him. He got angry at her for getting angry at him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right. So it's very, I feel like it's very tug of war with them, and even when you finish his route, it's kind of like it's very strange, the end of his route. Like,
Yeah.
so they do, so I mean, so in this route, who do they have? They have,
The twins.
yeah, it's the twins. Like, they're, oh my god, the twins are so creepy. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I feel so sorry for them. Those two, I think that was probably the ones I felt the most sorry for.
Right.
So yeah, in this one they are trying to solve, because Shiraishi was dealing with like the 2 months that were kind of like where nothing supposedly happened.
Mm-hmm.
That people thought it was kind of weird. The video was literally just of like a doll and like a countdown number, and they kind of like, and there's a couple of words, but nobody found any crime linked to it. And so Shiraishi was in charge of those 2 months. Um, the only thing that there was linked to it was like one of the guys who was supposedly going to go to the slammer ended up committing suicide, but that was the only thing that happened. So um, that's what they were trying to investigate in Shiraishi's route. And Suzuno Uno and Shion Uno were the two main culprits in this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
Yeah, they
like when
ended up.
she meets them in the park, and it's very, it's just sad because it's like, I can't remember why they were bitter. I think someone like, I think it was because of a family member, right? Like a mom or dad.
Yeah,
Okay.
and their reason for what they did was that their mother was bullied in her school that she was at. There was like, I guess, like, it was I think a private school or some kind of school. And this kid, there was this one student whose mom was a superstar. So obviously they were paying the school lots of money. So this kid can get away with whatever he wanted to. And he ended up liking their mother, but their mother was obviously married. And so obviously she was rejecting his advances. So he ended up making her life a living hell.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what caused her to kind of just go crazy, have a mental breakdown. And so she ended up going and she ended up killing her husband. She was going to kill the whole family, and she ended up
Right.
killing her husband, and then she killed herself afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
And the twins were the only ones that survived because their dad saved them from dying, because the mom was going to kill them before she killed the husband.
Right.
So that's what happened with these two.
Yeah.
And they figured out that they ended up figuring out what was the cause of their mother's breakdown. And Suzune, the girl, ended up, she actually has like a bipolar disorder. She kind of has like so she's like two different personalities that ended up developing from this incident. So she's creepy. I think out of the two twins, she's probably the creepiest.
Yeah. She definitely has that like girl out of the well type of vibe about her.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah. So they it was like and what we ended up figuring out from these two is that they ended up killing one of the girls who ended up turning in, that ended up like, because I guess their mom was also like accused of like doing terrible things, I think. um this girl said something to her mom or something like that, and her mom got the teacher girl involved in trouble with the school over something that wasn't true. And so these two got rid of that girl and they killed her, and nobody knew about it until Shiraishi and them figured out about it.
Mm-hmm.
um that was also a pretty like woo a pretty bad scene.
Right.
The detective agency part was like, oh my god, that's another one that was like bad. But
Right. Yeah. Super, super intense. So yeah, Shirashi, yeah, that was, yeah. I feel like even though as creepy and as weird as I thought those kids were, it's super, super sad because it's like they saw that happening, and it's kind of like that's
mhm.
why they were the way that they were. So
Yeah.
that kind of, totally,
Yeah, because
totally
after
blows.
that, they were treated as like, kids of a
Weird.
murderer. Their
Right.
family
And they're
never
like,
treated them correctly.
right. And they didn't have
Yeah.
any friends and they were picked on, and yeah,
They
but
just had each other pretty much, and it was very, yeah, sad.
yeah, but so concluding into the end of Shiraishi's kind of good end. It's, I guess, another kind of like, I'm gonna like, I guess he doesn't kidnap her, but it's like she's in a bunker and she doesn't remember who she is, and she's, because she got hurt, and it's like he kind of pretends to be her doctor, and that's who she thinks that he is, but he's not. And it's
Yeah. The
super,
sad
super
part about what
weird.
leads to this, though, is, obviously Ichika didn't think that he was part of Adonis at all. The whole time she was investigating everything with him. He's been with the group this whole time, never thought that he was part of Adonis. And then she found out that he was part of Adonis. And then from that, he disappeared. And then she
Mm-hmm.
went to go look for him in the Adonis headquarters. And then,
Right.
yeah, and then she kind of ended up in this state because of something that I'm having a hard time remembering. It's a lot of stuff to cover, guys. Sorry for not getting too into detail, but
I tell you, it's a very in-depth game. Like, if you like, when I took a break from it, I was like, what? And then I got spoiled by something because I was trying to like refresh my memory, and I was like, great, now I just spoiled the end of the game. Fun. Um,
sad
so there's
face.
that. I know it happens. Next time I'll be a little bit more careful because yeah, it totally sucks. But yeah, he kind of like nurses her back to her health, and like she doesn't really like question why she's like where she is, because like even though she doesn't really remember who she
Mm-hmm.
is, I would think a human would assume that it's wrong to be where they are right now. I don't know. It just seems a
Mm-hmm.
little weird for me. But when she does
Ah, I
get better,
remembered it.
ah, okay,
I remembered it. She
ah,
got
okay.
poisoned.
Oh yeah, to
Zero.
make,
They killed
yeah.
Zero in this route. They did, but Zero, before they were able to kill him, he pressed the button to administer the poison. But they were in the hideout already, so Shiraishi knew that the antidote was somewhere there. So after they killed Zero, he went to get the antidote on Zero's dead body.
Mhm.
And he administered it to Ichika, but a little too late because obviously she was already like comatose from the poison that hit her. So she
Mhm.
obviously survived, but that's the reason why she was in this state. Okay, yeah, I'm
Right.
glad. I feel much better. I remembered it.
I'm so happy you feel better. I feel better too. um, but when she's like starts to like come, it's like she kind of remembers, and it's like he sets up like a trade or like a pickup, and like Yanagi comes and like picks her up, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, they go like in the under, like, I don't know, some like cavern, not cavern, but like underpath kind of thing, and like kind of like sends her off with him, and like she does eventually remember everything, and then he disappears again, but then randomly shows up at the agency, and like talks to her on a roof and is like, hey, blah blah blah, has his little moment, and then like he's like, I have to turn myself in. I have to, if I want to become better with my life and become like be Shiraishi and like have this life as a person, I have to turn myself in. So he turns himself into the police.
Yeah, it's a sad thing that he feels that. I mean, I'm glad that he feels the need to turn himself in because obviously he's turning a new leaf. But that was really
Hmm.
sad that they couldn't be together.
I know.
And right after she remembered him too, he told her that he was planning to. At first, he wasn't even planning to actually tell her anything. He was just going to like disappear and turn himself in. He was gonna just leave her in the care of obviously her younger brother, who she also gets along. They fix their relationship in this route as well, and then they were in Yanagi and all of them as well. But yeah, it was this one was also just very,
Intense.
but it was intense and also just really bittersweet. Like the happy ending was just like it didn't
Not
really feel so
happy.
happy to me. It was
Was
like this
not
is
satisfying.
no. I would have been happier if he just didn't turn himself in. I mean, it was good that he did, but it's just like, really, really did you to go breaking my heart and go turn yourself in and not be with her.
Well,
Just
maybe everything will be fulfilled in the fan disc.
oh, we'll see. I haven't made it to his route yet.
I feel like I'd want to do his route first, just to be like, okay, I need to have my heart fulfilled for this.
I did Yanagi first. I love my
Of course,
boy.
of course you would. Speaking of Yanagi, dun
Woo, my
dun
boy.
dun, he is true route. So you cannot play his route until you play everyone else's route, and you get good and for every route, and then he unlocks. So
Yep.
this is the very first scene where they first meet, or quote unquote first meet. Um, they find her in the church. She has the collar. She can't move because she's poisoned. Um,
Yep.
but they get there. She gets the antidote that's in the collar injected into her, so she becomes better, and that's how she meets Yanagi and the team, and kind of teams, quote unquote, teams up with them. And Yanagi is investigating the X Day just as a whole, just as a
Yep.
whole big thing. So obviously, since he is true route, there's a lot that goes on. You learn a lot in this game, or about this game with his route. So I feel like in everyone else's route, he kind of gives this hint of like longing for her, if that makes sense. Like I feel like in every route he kind of has this like, oh, like oh, we should go talk to him, and like he's very encouraging of like her like getting to know the other guys and stuff like that. But it's like kind of like you get that that twinge of like, oh, he likes her. He likes her, and that what kind of sucks. So, um, so she teams up with Yanagi and just investigates X Day as a whole.
Yep.
Um, so it's like he's amper, apprehensive about working with her. Like he doesn't want to like shut her out, but it's like he doesn't know what she would be capable of, because I kind of feel like he never
Mm-hmm.
like doubts her, but like I don't know. It's like they never. It's like he see. I don't. It's like they see them.
He was he was definitely like a like a higher rank than where she's at as well. He was like one of like the top brass people.
Mhm.
So like he obviously wasn't sure how much she'll be able to. Not that he looked down on her or anything like that, because he never did. He's too nice to do that. But
Right. He's a
he
very
just wasn't sure how.
respectable. Right. He's a very respectable character, and does value like her opinions and stuff, because I think there's like a point in it where she's like, where she kind of tells him that I think it's when they get drunk or something, she was like, I want you to like see me as your partner, and he's like, but you always have been my partner, or something like that. I feel like, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, no, the relationship was I don't know. It was just a relationship, but we figure out that like they knew each other before, so I mean,
Well, he
well, he
remembers
knew.
her, she doesn't remember
Yeah.
him. um
Yeah, true, true.
but I think it's also because he's so much, I mean, he's not that much older. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like an age gap. I mean, she's 21, he's 28. So, I mean, it's 7 years difference. I mean, it's not that big of a deal, in my opinion. But, like, for him, he
Yeah,
sees it
no,
as,
he's just a
like,
lot more,
like he's
yeah,
had
mature.
more, right. He's more, to him, he's like, I'm older than her. I've worked in the field longer than her. She's so new to the whole, like, police kind of environment and stuff like that. So it's almost like he wants to baby her and almost like protect her innocence, I guess, so to say. So like
Yeah,
he kind of treats her as like a little sister, and she kind of gets like a little perturbed
annoyed
by
with
it.
that.
Yeah, she's like, I stop. She was like, this needs to stop. Um,
Yeah.
but that's why, like, in this CG, he kind of has like a very playful, like, oh, you're so silly, like hee, like it's very like an innocent type of way that he talks to her and treats her and stuff like that. Um,
Yeah.
but they do know each other from the past. And that's kind of like
Mm-hmm.
his inner demon is their past. Um,
Yeah. Like,
because he also is kind of a target for Adonis because of
mm-hmm.
his past. And they kind of challenge her and kind of like, hey, this is what he did in his past. Like, does that change your mind? Or, should we kill him? It's kind of like they kind of play with her mind. Um,
Yeah.
so she's over at the office and she's tired or she just got off work or something like that, like overnight. And then Yanagi's like, hey, take a nap. So she has a nap, but then she has a flashback of her past. Shit. Has a flashback of her past. Just gonna clip that out. But she has a kind of like a dream of her past and she just remembers this dark figure. Like that's how she remembers this moment in her life as a dark figure.
Mm.
She was being attacked by this random man at a very young age. And like almost kills her. And
Yeah, she was kidnapped. Mm-hmm.
and like it's like she doesn't remember like the man like hurting her, but there's just this figure, like this dark entity figure, like coming at her and stuff like that. So it's kind of like she was never scared of the man, but she was always scared of like the dark figure.
Yeah.
Um,
It's probably mostly just like, the stress that caused her to forget
right,
them or just suppress the memories and stuff like
right,
that.
right, exactly. Like she's stressed, she's having these, and it's a very intense moment in someone's life to experience something like that.
Yeah.
But you kind of learn to find out that it is Yanagi who sees this happening and just kind of like goes crazy and just like gets a bat or a stick or, oh, it's a practice sword. I think it's a practice sword. And he just like beats the shit out of this guy. And like, does he kill him or he just
Yeah,
like
because
almost
he's
kills him?
no, he almost kills him, but like
Okay.
he feels like he actually killed him because the guy's kind of like comatose now. But
Mm,
yeah,
that's
Yanagi
right.
came across Ichika being kidnapped, and he tries to come save her. And then in the process of trying to save her, pretty much gets almost him and her both killed actually at first. And in the process of trying to save them both, Yanagi kind of like ends up feeling the need to he has to actually beat the guy really badly, and which it was in self-defense and stuff like that what he did, and he just felt really really bad that he almost like made this guy like die afterwards what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually still visits this guy in the hospital, even to this day now after this event happened.
Yeah.
And we figured that out. He still like feels bad for what he did, but Ichika didn't remember this at all, but Nagi remembered her from it.
Yeah.
So
He like
also he's
instantly
always
did.
also kind of trying to keep her, at distance because he knew that she was scared of him from then. Because he even asked her. I remember there was a point that he went up to her and he's like, "Are you scared of me?" And she said yes.
Right.
And I felt so sorry for him when she said, "I'm like, oh, poor boy." He felt in the picture that they showed there in that CG, you could see how
Mm-hmm.
just broken he felt when she said that she was actually scared of him,
Mm-hmm.
even though he was trying to protect her. I was
Right.
like, oh,
Yeah.
that hurts.
It was so sad because he thought he was doing such a good thing, but because he was trying to protect him and her, it like ended up like traumatizing her at the same time. Um,
Yeah.
but we do get a cute little CG because he's like, "Hey, are you okay? You're like having a nightmare," and it's just like she's just sleeping there, and he's checking on her. Oh my god, I love this moment. It was so good.
I
Oh,
I love Yanagi. Oh gosh, he's my oh gosh. I wish somebody like I wish I had a real life Yanagi in my life. Yeah. Please, please, and thank you. That's all I want for Christmas.
she's taking applications. She's open for applications. Please apply below. But even though like even like with this, he's still kind of like I feel like he's just checking on her like as a big brother, but like kind of not. Like it's like he's curious about like could I get close to her? You know what I mean? Um
Yeah.
but I also feel like he starts like there's certain moments like in this moment where he's like kind of jealous of Kay like, "Oh, I'll take her home." He's like, "You will not." No.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like
Yeah, no, I
wants
think
Go ahead.
Yanagi, I think actually he always had feelings for Ichika. I just think he was trying to suppress them a little bit too much just because of what he did. Well, he scared her. So like
Right.
he felt like he had no right. Also, the fact that he almost killed somebody. I think he
Right.
always just thought he had. I can't like somebody. I really can't love anybody because of what I did. But obviously, you can't stop who you love at all.
Right.
So
Well,
he
it's
still fell in love with Ichika.
right. It's also that. It's also maybe he's like he doesn't want to like scare her again or make her remember that moment or something like that, or almost like he doesn't want to get rejected because she remembers who he is and stuff like that. Um,
Yep.
so that kind of sucks for him, but also I
Yeah.
feel like kind of when she breaks through to him and is like makes him realize because she says that she likes him first. Like she's like,
Yeah.
"Sir, I like you regardless." Like,
That scene was so cute. Oh
oh
my
my
gosh,
god.
it was adorable.
And he was just like, "Wait, but," and he's like trying to like. It's like he wanted to like he didn't want to reject her because he was like, it's like he needed a moment. He's like, I need a moment to like process this. Because
Yeah.
also they go through a moment where like she starts to call him by his first name and
Mhm.
like she keeps doing it and everyone's like, "Well, she's calling you by your first name. Why are you not calling her by her first name?" And he was like, "I have issues, okay? Issues."
Yeah.
Which is it's just funny cuz it's like he's 28. He's the oldest out of all the characters, all the routable characters and it's like I don't know. I think it's kind of adorable that he's like has that huge issue and she's like I don't think it's an issue and he's like issue, it's a big issue. Like it's a big thing for me.
Yeah.
Like I just love how that is for like that's his thing that he's getting flustered over is like calling her by her first name, which is kind of adorable.
It's adorable. Oh
It
gosh,
is
Nagi is
adorable.
such a uh I love him so much. But yeah, his route, God, there was so much stuff that happened in his route. I'm trying to obviously I think you pretty much like saw every single account was kind of um oh yeah. There's a part that, because of the fact that he hurt somebody, he didn't want to ever hurt somebody else again. So there was a really big scene that actually happened um when they were inside like that the place where the people were like standing on like the building and they were like thrown off
Mm,
the
yeah.
building. They went to that area right there and there was a guy that was holding a girl hostage and Yanagi was like he was like afraid to shoot and Ichika ended up having to be like his strength right there to go ahead and tell him that he needs to shoot,
Mhm.
that she has his back. I remember that scene. That was probably like one of my favorite scenes because that just showed like so much like that just showed the bond between the characters get like so much like it was like a really important scene actually, I think.
Yeah, it was
I just
like
showed
a
like their relationship like go like a whole new mile in like just like that one little scene right there.
right. Him finally being like, "Okay, I can trust myself and I can trust her and I can trust that this situation will be okay," kind of a thing.
Yeah. And they're able to apprehend it. I remember though and obviously all these routes this is not like the true bad end, but in every single end there is a bad end that can happen, you can just simply die,
Right. Just
and in that
random
scene
pass
there's just
out or
simple random dies. Yeah,
right.
that's lovely. I remember I had to do that one shoot like 3 times over again because I kept getting like jittery hands when I was doing it. I was like, oh shoot.
You're like the simplest of things to do and you're like, I can't.
Well,
So
yeah, Yanagi was also the only guy that Kazuki actually, I think, had no problem with at all. He saw Enimoto as too kiddish, I think. He saw Takaru, he just did not like Takaru. Kei, I think he didn't really like Kei.
I think he found him annoying because he kept like coming over and like protecting him. He's like, why is this man here?
Yeah. And so I think that Yanagi is like the only one. I think Shiraishi, he didn't like Shiraishi at all.
Well, I mean, I don't blame
And
him.
yeah, no, neither do I. So I think Yanagi is literally the only one that Kazuki had no problem with dating Ichika.
Right. I agree. Just because he's like kind of like the most normal and mature one out of everyone and doesn't have like some sort of like extreme personality like a tsundere or just this man with like cat ears on his head. Like, you know what I mean? Like, here's this grown man with cats on him. Like, I don't understand. But yeah, his route was I definitely did like his route. Like just this when especially when he started breaking out and like actually like showing affection towards her and stuff like that is
Hmm.
it's so it's so beautiful. So beautiful.
It was.
Oh, so good. Um but yeah, I mean these next two CGs is kind of like the end and he gives her a ring. Yeah, he gives her a ring at the end, doesn't he?
A little clover ring, if I
Right.
remember correctly. Yeah, he gave her a little clover ring because I guess they, I forgot why. I don't remember. There's so much stuff to cover, people.
I
I just
know.
like,
I
it's
mean,
like, yeah.
yeah. So I guess like the biggest bomb that drops in his route is who Zero is.
Yeah, oh God. People, hold on to your pants.
Hold on to your panties. So this is, all the I guess you could say bad guys and victims and then Zero. And it's kind of like you don't suspect it, but you kind of like if you pick up on the small notes, you know who Zero is. Um and he's kind of like intense. Like he's super intense. Like when you find out he's Zero, he like goes full on like crazy on you. Like yeah, it's
Yes,
intense.
like he kidnaps you actually too,
Yeah.
because like on the roof he actually kidnaps Ichika, because he really like, which brings up I still never like fully understand why he was like after just Ichika. I honestly
Mhm.
think it's because he actually liked her, and I think it's because he
Probably.
wanted her to become like part of his like, he wanted her to be with him forever. So obviously he's gonna make her try to see his point of view, because I mean it
Y-
just made no other sense why he felt the need to. It's just her specifically.
Right, because
So
he saw her justice. Like she wanted to see justice saw, through people doing wrong deeds and stuff. She wanted to do everything to be properly prosecuted and stuff like that. But he took that to the extreme of okay, properly prosecuting people means if they're bad, we have to kill them and like purge the world of bad people.
like he's like really his form is just crazy, and I honestly felt so like shocked actually, because I didn't pick up on any of his subtle hints. I always thought that Saiki was such a nice character. I was like, oh, he's such a great friend and stuff like that. I never thought it would be him. And when I figured out it was him, I was just like,
Damn it.
really? Why? I actually liked you. I was hoping you were gonna get like a row, maybe eventually. I, we end up being a complete utter psycho. Why?
Mhm. And then kind of like with his route, you kind of learn about like Ray and like he's like a political leader's son and he's teaming up with him, but then he saw like Psyche kind of like losing like he kind of overtakes Adonis and like takes it too far because like he kind of explains like when they were just kind of haphazardly killing people or doing incidents and stuff like that. That wasn't what was planned or what they wanted to do. Um,
Yeah.
so it's kind of, he wanted to try to separate himself, but he didn't know how to do that. So and then he, and this in Yanagi's route, he kind of like spills all the beans and then turns himself in and all that, and like tells everyone where, you know, the hideout is and all that, and it's just, it's intense. You know, it's the end of the game where you find out about everything, and so of course it's going to be intense. um but yeah, yeah, he goes crazy.
Yeah, he is very. I mean, I guess he was like always crazy, though. I mean, so he just hit it really, really well.
Yeah, he
Um,
did. Yeah, he
because
did.
apparently even like Ray was like, because I guess at first Sayaki, based off what we heard from Ray, Sayaki agreed that they both saw the same thing, but I guess always internally he was always thinking that no, they actually didn't really see eye to eye. They weren't seeing the same justice what he was looking for, but he was just using Ray to kind of like accomplish what it is that he wanted to do. Which we also figure out that Yuzuru Saiki is actually not even his real name. That was a name that he stole from
Yeah.
somebody else.
Mm-hmm. To stay under the
um
radar.
so we actually never really figured out this guy's actual name, but he'll always be forever known as Saiki. But
Mm-hmm.
so crazy.
Yeah.
It was really crazy. And yeah, it was intense. Like this route, like I definitely really liked Hinagi's route. Like obviously since it was like the ending one, it brought all together the loose ends and stuff like that. So it was definitely my favorite route, obviously, because I really like Yanagi too. He's my favorite one in the whole story.
Of
But I
course.
mean,
He's your
yeah,
boo.
I mean, he's the poster boy. I love all poster boys.
Hey, when you have a type, you have a type, right?
Yeah, I totally do. Because I mean, like I like Takage from Psychedelica, and you didn't like him at all. So.
Yeah. I mean, I like all individual characters. Yeah, it's just, yeah. This the ending just kind of comes at you. And of course everything concludes and everything, but kind of like a bad, so of course with Yanagi being true route, he has a lot of bad endings, like in
Oh yeah,
most
he's
true
the
routes.
worst.
Like you die, like you can die in every chapter, you die like 500 times. It's not as bad as Amnesia with true route. I'm pretty sure there's like 20 bad ends where like that's intense. um but I feel like one of the most intense, it's not, it's one of Yanagi's bad routes. Um, because like he kills Yanagi and he's like dead in the background, and it's like, I don't know, Psyche just kind of kills the thing or the person that she like loves in life, because it's like, if I take that away, then she has to come with me. Like, if I take everything away from her, then she has to be. And like everyone, I think there's like a hand, I can't remember whose hand that is, like pretty much everyone's dead. He kills everyone. But yeah, I feel, because he kills everyone in this route, doesn't he? He kills all
Oh gosh.
everyone.
Yeah, that one was a bad one. Like you see in the background, you see Yanagi dead over there, and
Yeah. There's Yanagi dead over
everybody else is
there.
there too.
Yeah, there's a
Mm-hmm.
hand on one of the pews, um, hanging over the end, and it's, yeah, it's, he kills everyone, so he pretty much tries to eliminate every possible option for her. So it's like she has no choice but to pick him, essentially.
Yeah, he like he forces her to join him in this one. Like it's,
Mm-hmm.
gosh, I don't like. I really want to like him, and I still kind of do like him, but he's just you're evil.
Yeah.
You're evil.
I think he's just, he doesn't understand what he's doing, everything for the wrong reasons, essentially.
Yeah.
So I guess to stay on theme for tragedy is all the characters have a tragic love end or just tragic end.
Yep.
So going in order, there's Animoto. So in his tragic end, she kills um
Ogata
she kills Ogata instead of not killing him, and she feels
to protect
torn.
Animoto.
Right. And she feels torn and like she's done the wrong thing. So she is leaving town. She's going back to her parents and he is running after her trying to stop her, and it's like the train is taking away and he's like watching her just go away. It's so sad.
Yeah, it was really sad. He, like, after she killed Ogata, he got really, like, broken down about it, too, because he was, like, not wanting anybody else to die anymore. You know,
Mhm.
that was his resolve from what happened with,
Right. And
his
right, and
problem
he keeps telling her like don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And it's like she's like, "Well, I have to do it because this is,
to protect you.
right,
Yeah.
this is what it means to be a police officer is sometimes you have to shoot to protect or something like that." And it's
Yeah.
she feels that she's technically wasn't in the wrong, but she feels that she did the wrong thing.
Yeah. And the sad part about it, before this scene, before he actually came to the train station, they hadn't seen each other for a while because he was still so angry at her that he kind of like distanced himself from her.
Mhm.
Obviously, he just had to, put his thoughts together as well. But then she like completely like resigns from being a police officer, which is something that she loves. So that was like a really big thing for her. And
Mhm.
then she was like leaving to go back with her family and stuff like that. It was like you just see his eyes. You just see like the broken heartedness. It was so
I know. It's so sad. Um, so more tragic. It's just gonna hit you right in the gut the whole way. Um, Sazuka. So instead of her leaving, it's kind of like it's weird because like this is the tragic end picture, and it's like it looks heartwarming and like endearing, but it's he's giving her a necklace and then he leaves.
yeah, forever. That's like they never see each other again.
Yeah, it's like, sir, you show me your feelings, you give me this necklace, this gift, and then you just like skip out of town. Like it's so sad, and it's
And you
ugh.
know that he like apparently he goes. The reason why he left is because he got word of oddness showing signs in the states.
Mm-hmm.
So he was leaving to the states, and that's why he was never going to see her again.
Right.
And yeah, so I mean, like it was just like I remember thinking that was just why are you never going to see me again like that. At first, I thought, oh, this seems like a pretty. This is not so bad. But then it's just that we never saw each other again. I was like, oh, okay, well, now I see why it was a tragic love end.
Right. And I even like mistaken, like I completely forgot, and I was like, oh, pretty picture, and like I thought this was on his good route, and I was like, wait, this is incorrect. I'm incorrect. I have, yep. So I had to change that, but okay. Are you ready? Are we? Do you have your favorite docky or pillow to kind of sob into, get more tragedy?
Yeah.
So there's Kay.
Oh, his oh god, his I hated his. I felt the tears just fall down, man.
She dies.
He was so
It's
conflicted in his freaking route. She dies, yeah, and he gets, and like Zero the whole time is like just mocking and like saying like degrading and just terrible things to Kay, and
mm-hmm.
he's already breaking down, obviously because he's like, you were supposed to die, it was supposed to be me, but you told me to live with you. I don't want to die because you told me to live, and that was your will. That's what you wanted me to do. But then I want to die because you're not with me anymore, and like you just see like oh God, this scene, I it
So
was
much turmoil.
this was like probably like the most like tragic to me. It was just other than Yanagi's where everybody was dead and well, well like that was like tragic, but I feel like this one had more of like the tragic feel to it, if you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm. It's a very what I explain it as Romeo and Juliet kind of ending.
Yeah. Kind of like that. Yeah. He doesn't kill himself, but Zero kills him
Yeah.
after he was thinking of killing him
Yeah.
himself, but he didn't. It was, oh, God, this scene.
Yep.
Sad.
Intense. Intense. Um, so the one that so this next one, Shiraishi's tragic end. Oh, this one hit me the hardest. This one
Mm-hmm.
hit me the hardest. Where like I was like, my jaw was like hanging open. Like this CG, like it's so beautiful, but like so sad at the same time because it's like
Mm-hmm.
he's fully controlled by Zero. She is now controlled by Zero, and that's like there's another version of the CG where he has a tear in his eye, and it's like he knows this isn't good, but it's like his brain cannot not do the wishes of Zero because Zero has him under his control. Like he's literally like there I can't remember exactly what he does, but he says something to him and that triggers him to like do whatever he wants him to do. And he has like he cannot stop himself. And like now
Yeah, Ichika, like, in this one, like, she decided she wanted to save Shiraishi,
mhm
and Zero gave her only the option to save Shiraishi is to join him. So
mhm
Ichika is kind of, she's actually still in control of herself, but she's
like
lost
numb.
herself.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's lost herself. She's no longer her, but she's doing it because she loves Shiraishi. And Shiraishi, I think actually, I don't think he's being controlled here because obviously of that teardrop. I just think it's now kind of like he just is going along with her because she is doing this now for him.
Well, cuz
And
it's
he
like
knows it.
cuz like in his route he kind of like in that one like how I mentioned where he was doing things because he wanted to, but subconsciously he saw it as him like getting closer to her to like for
Yeah.
his job. So I feel like this is the same thing. Like he knows what's happening, but it's almost like he's watching it happen and he's in an like in another body and
Yeah.
he can't save her. He doesn't know how to save her and he doesn't know
Yeah, that's
what
probably
to
what that
do.
was. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was really, really heartbreaking. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
CG though, woo!
Oh, I know. I was like, I got to this moment. I was like, oh, whew, this is this is intense to say the least.
Like I was, it's just terrible. But like,
Yeah.
it's yeah. But you see, they obviously it really turned Ichika into like the princess of oddness when she joins them because obviously, I mean, look at that dress that she's wearing.
Oh yeah. She's like the princess of doom, like
Yeah, pretty
princess of
much.
death. It's a princess of death. Um. So now we have one more tragic, and how does this make you feel?
Yeah. I felt so like
Broken.
brokenhearted with this one.
Oh,
Just look at him. He
I
just looks
know.
so.
He
Oh
doesn't. He
gosh.
can't find her. He's trying to find her, and he doesn't know where she's at. No one knows. And he just
And a quick little
feels,
side note just to give you guys a funny here. Both me and Gwen had to look up the ending for this because we both could not remember this one for the life of
oh,
us.
I know. I was like, what? And it's so funny because, like, you just replayed this whole game, like, not even a
I
month
know.
ago. And it's like, our brains. Short term memory loss. Much. Jeez,
Well, in
man.
my defense, I've been playing Pat Apple Wars, Bad Apple Wars, and CollarxMalice Unlimited. Like after I finished it, so I mean, I've been playing other games, so
Everything just kind of, you're like, wait, when does it end? When does it start? What happens where?
I'm
Um,
glad I didn't get I didn't get messed up with CollarxMalice Unlimited in this original one when we're talking. Like, yeah, I was trying not to.
you're like, wait. Well, and then I was looking at CGs and it was like, I kept like trying to find it for the first game and like unlimited since a lot of people were playing it right now kept popping up and I was like, no, I don't want unlimited. I want this one, the first one.
Yeah. Oh god.
But to lift our spirits, you know, we can go back to this one where I can't remember exactly what he's threatening him with.
I don't know. He's that they Takaru is threatening him with thousands of stuff, so you know.
Everything. And then everyone's just,
These two relationships hilarious.
yeah. And then just, you know, everyone's had it with him. So I feel like he could like make everyone's life miserable because of his hacking skills, probably.
Oh yeah, probably. Oh gosh. I definitely like whatever I think of like the whole detective agency, like I always see like a family. Like so we have Yanagi who's the mommy. We have Takeru and Animoto who are like the two like brothers who never get along. We have Shiraishi who's just like that annoying neighbor who keeps showing up every single day.
No, that's Kay. Kay's the annoying neighbor because he keeps
Yeah,
coming through the
okay,
freaking
yeah.
window.
And
She,
Shiraishi like the uncle, the random uncle that just shows
yeah,
up
I was
every
just gonna
single
say
day.
he's the creepy uncle that no one wants around. Or trying to figure out exactly who he's related to be an uncle, like no one can figure it out.
Yeah.
I feel like that's him.
Like it actually, sorry. Yanagi is like the um she's the mom and dad put together.
Yeah, he's
And then
just
it's because
everything.
she's just there, you know?
Just there. Sorry, sir. Um, but yeah, so
Oh.
I have a few last questions for you.
All right.
What's your favorite bad end?
Favorite bad end.
Or
Favorite.
I don't want to say most memorable bad end. Like what's one that made you just I mean, we probably went over it. It's probably one of the tragic ends, but I mean, I don't I hate to say favorite, but the one that shell shocked me the more was Shioshi's tragic end. Like that really got to
Mm-hmm.
me. Like that was the one that was like, this is a bad end. Like
Yeah, I think that one was mine too. Because like the other ones, like they were, I mean, like Kay's just made me cry. So I'm not gonna say it's my favorite bad end. Shiraishi's was just like, what the heck? But like,
right.
yeah. But that's CG though. Yeah, we'll go with that Shiraishi. They have favorite bad end
Okay.
right there.
um favorite good end
Favorite good end.
or happy end
Oh
or
God, they're
true
all so
end
cute. I'm
other than
gonna go with.
Yanagi because we know you love
How dare you
Yanagi.
say that?
Okay, I'm
Well
just
then,
kidding.
I'm gonna have to say, well, if without Yanagi, I'll say Animoto's was really cute.
His
Animoto's was
was.
adorable.
Yeah. I liked him and um Suzuka's. I feel I really like their end if we're not talking about true end. Because I feel like true end everyone loves true end just because it gives you a little bit more than the other ends.
Yeah, but real truth thoughts right there, Yanagi. But
If we're being honest with ourselves,
I'm being
Yanagi.
honest here, Yanagi.
Right.
And then final thoughts.
Hmm.
Well, my final thoughts definitely were like when I first picked up CollarxMalice, I honestly did not have any clue what I was going into. Like I
Same.
didn't think I was gonna like it because I'm not really one for like mystery, murder. Oh, well, mystery I like, but like murder type of stuff, like police. And I don't really watch that kind of stuff or listen to the kind of
Crime
stuff.
shows. Yeah.
Um, crime shows. Yeah, I'm not one to watch those kind of stuff. And so when I kind of heard like the premise of it when I got the box and stuff like that, I was just like, ah. And then the artwork, like I said in our previous podcast, was something I had to kind of get used to because it was definitely something different from what I'm used to, and it
Hmm.
wasn't like more mature looking, I guess you can kind of say. But like it was so I honestly had no clue what I was gonna think about it. But as soon as I started like playing it and like I got through like the prologue and stuff, I'm like, oh my god, this is actually it like kind of hooked me in like instantly. Um, and so like they did a really good job with like and it wasn't too scary either. It was like something that I can actually handle. So if any of you guys are like me who don't watch crime stuff, You know, and we're like, I really don't think I'm gonna like this because I don't like that. I highly suggest still checking it out because I don't, and I fully enjoyed this game. So,
Good. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I didn't know what to expect, and this is definitely not what I was expecting.
hmm
So,
did you
yeah.
end up like having like your favorite character? Like, obviously, as soon as I saw Yanagi, I kind of automatically knew he was gonna be my favorite, so I was right there.
Um, because at first I just like character design wise, I thought I was gonna like Shiraishi, but I was so torn in his route.
hmm
And then I at first didn't like Sasuke's route.
hmm
But I feel like over time I kind of like his character the more I think about it.
Me
Uh,
too.
I feel like you can't not love Animoto, like,
Yeah.
you know. Um, but yeah, those are my final thoughts in the game.
Yeah, but if any of you guys decide to check this game out, do let us know. You know, like tell us what you guys thought, what you thought of our very first review for our Otome. We were kind of a little,
Haphazard.
not really like, yeah, about it. You know, especially since we kind of touched on a really like detailed game for our very first one. But we hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know what you guys thought. If you guys want us to do little, you know, maybe little things differently, maybe organize it differently, whatever. Let us know. We want to know so we can make this more enjoyable for all you peoples out there.
Peoples.
Peoples.
But yeah, I mean, I hope if they got this far, they did play the game because that would be such a big spoil. I mean, we obviously didn't cover everything, so there's still more that you could learn. But I hope you didn't. I hope you're not mad because you got this far in the podcast and are mad that we literally spoiled the entire game for you because that literally was like an hour ago. So this is gonna be a long podcast for me to edit. Oh,
Fun.
oh, thanks. I appreciate you. But yeah, that's it. That is our thoughts and everything on the first Caller X Malice game. If you want to follow us on social media, I pretty much am only interesting on Twitter. I have an Instagram, but I'm not going to share that because like I literally do nothing on it and I just watch other people's stories. Like that's literally all my Instagram is for. But you can follow me on Twitter. My handle is cookingkoala2_0. And Wintie, where can they stalk you at? Where are you be?
I'm mostly active right now, currently only on Twitter. I have a
Mm-hmm.
YouTube, and you can find both of them literally at the exact same name, Yuki Hanabi X. I just editing videos as of right now is just a
Not.
task I have not done right now. So follow me on Twitter if you want to see something active.
Yeah, everything will be down in the description. And again, thank you to your friend for making these super cute chibis. I absolutely love them. Again, her information will be down below. And also, thanks again for making such a cute little like new logo for us. Like I, it's so cute. I like the little
Thank
pumpkin.
you.
It's so cute.
I'll be making one for Christmas too. So
I love Christmas. You need to add,
me too.
you need to put little Santa Claus hats on our little chibis for the holiday season. I'm down for
I'll be
that.
cute. Yeah,
What
I gotta
if
do that.
we could put turkey hats for Thanksgiving?
Maybe we can find one. Oh my god, that's
uh,
so funny.
we just put hats depending on the season, like summer hats, ball cap, and turkey hat, and weirdness. Welcome to our personalities. We're strange people, but I hope you enjoyed. Um, let us know what you thought. Let us know if you. I mean, I guess you probably wouldn't be listening to this if you listen to the non-spoiler part. But let us know what you think. We are happy to answer any questions that you may have. I know we didn't take questions for this. I don't know if we'll take questions for something like this. I feel like it's very, I don't know. I don't know. We'll think about it. Then I think the
Maybe we'll do a
next,
Q&A
yeah,
eventually.
yeah, because I mean, because we kind of ask ourselves questions as we go. Um, and of course, we're always going to tell you who our favorite characters are. I mean, that's kind of a given. That's
Mm-hmm.
you don't even have to ask. If there's questions that you want us to address, maybe in the next one that you thought, oh, well, maybe you should talk about this or that in the next game review. I think in the future, how we want to do this is doing it by character route instead of an entire game all together like this. Definitely would make the podcast a lot shorter. Um, so we'll probably do route by route as we're playing the game, and then do a final conclusion kind of podcast altogether.
Yep. I think that's probably the better route than
Yeah.
doing this kind of thing again.
Yeah, because it's hard to remember all the routes all at once. Like talking about it in general is one thing, but like going in depth about every single route is it's pretty intense. And Wintie definitely helped me collect my brain because this isn't the first time we try to record this. This is the third time. So we didn't get this far with all the other ones. So luckily for that, we are still at like the very beginning of the podcast. So, but
Yeah. Oh
she
gosh.
kept saying,
Yeah.
didn't you forget? And you didn't. And I don't think we should do that. And I was like, my life, my life, my life in a handbag right there. A hot mess.
Well, hey, yeah, that's what our friends are there for. We're there to fix each
Exactly.
other.
Get me back on track. That's what he needed. I had like all that week, all that like just the past couple days, I was like a mess everywhere, and I was like, oh my god, this keeps happening. What is happening? But enough of our rambling. We hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye bye.